and gentlemen, welcome to episode 44 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. It is Thursday, October 31st, 2019, 9:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going a little late here tonight because we wanted to let, we can't please everybody. No matter what time we do it, somebody's going to be caught up in the trick-or-treating. We got, our fans overseas that are probably in bed right now, but then we got people on the West Coast that are right in the middle of dinner and trick-or-treating. So we kind of had to split the difference and do the best we could. But anyway, my name's Dave McRae. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. Tony, how the hell are you?
Man, fantastic. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you too, dude. You like my little sort of strobe effect going on behind me here?
Man, you
with
got like
shit?
you got like Studio 54 McRae land, you know?
Yes. Well, I got all the girls over here dancing to music. There's a club downstairs over there, and that's where the lights come from.
Girls by Motley Crue.
It just is. It is. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that this would have some mood and atmosphere as Tony and I are going to watch the original Halloween tonight, John Carpenter's classic. Now, you will not be able to see the movie or hear the movie for obvious reasons. We don't want to get dinged. We already get dinged on these shows anyway because I guess because of the title of the show or something. YouTube likes to demonetize the show.
We say things like shit, fuck, cock, balls, bastard.
Well, that too. But we don't do it for that. We do it because we love it, and here we are. And thank goodness for the super chats. Anyway, so
that's sure.
People watching the chat room, we have 181 people already tuning in. Happy Halloween, everybody. We hope that you will join us in watching John Carpenter's classic tonight. We have it set up. We're not going to hit play just yet. We want to get everybody all prepared, whether you're watching it on VHS, whether you're watching it on DVD, whether you're watching it on Blu-ray. Where Tony and I have it is we have it about a second or two just before you hear the original theme. So just before you hear that dun 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 tick, 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 right, and there's a couple of seconds of black, and then you see Compass International Pictures, I think, pop up on the screen. So we have it just a couple of seconds before you hear the theme. That's where we are. So we'll give you guys a moment here to set that up. Just maybe a second or two back. I mean, you might be a second behind us. We might be a second behind you. But as long as we're in the ballpark and we have the same scenes up at the same time, I think that's the most important part. Exactly. Tony, I love your shirt, by the way.
Dude, I mean, I'm just so that nobody got confused tonight. I'm you. I'm dressed as Dave McRae for Halloween. So
yes!
I wore the hat backwards just so that people could tell who was who. I grew the beard in a little bit thicker, to make sure I got the McRae beard. Except, I don't got as many grays as Dave does. I could have gone full blown, hardcore, con or cosplay here, but
yes.
But I didn't want to confuse people, so I threw on. I did over the top stone.
Yes, I see that. I see that. Well, hey, you are Dave McRae for Halloween, and right. I guess right now I could be you for Halloween because I'm you like right now you. I'm Dave McRae being Tony Michael being Dave McRae for Halloween.
15 walls breaking shit right there.
I'm not Dave McRae. I'm Tony Michael as Dave McRae for Halloween. That's what's going on here.
As Tony Michael.
You see? It's all meta shit. There's like weird, it's all crazy stuff.
Like getting into some Pink Floyd The Wall trippy shit now.
Exactly. Okay, let me, I'm going to have it up on the screen over here. Let me bring this up. Tony, are you ready to get into this?
Yeah, man. Just tell me when to hit play.
All right. 1 second. Let me just bring this back here. And as well, folks, it's an open Q&A. So as Tony and I...
Yeah, like we're going to talk throughout the whole... We're not going to just be two dudes sitting here quietly through the film. That would be
Can you imagine?
Thing on YouTube ever. People could be coming like, why are they just sitting there not talking?
Can you imagine the next 90 minutes is just you and I like this?
Just sitting there like we're in the theater, right? No, we're not going to talk. People would that would be the funniest thing. I don't even think I could keep a straight face for
That'd
5
be
seconds.
amazing. That'd be amazing. I might turn the flicker to just kind of be normal in a second here. I just wanted a bit of mood and atmosphere as the show began. But yeah,
Cool.
all Q&A throughout the course of watching the movie. So absolutely send in the super chats if you'd like. Send in the questions if you'd like. And of course, we'll get to as many as we possibly can. So
And guys, I'm going to apologize in advance. This is where my photography, camera geekiness is going to come out, because I'm going to have like cinematography orgasms throughout this whole freaking film, because this is this is, if not one of the most important films in my life, and why I chose to get into what I do as a living. And the impact and, you know, everything that Dean Cundy and Tommy Lee Wallace and John Carpenter and Deborah Hill did in just the whole stylization of the film, from, you know, the opening shot to the end. It's just like, for me, it's like a photographer's paradise, because I know what they're doing, and I love it. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, 100%, 100%. And I'll be right there with you. I mean, at the end of the day, because it's so, you know, I mean, this was not Dean Cundy's first, you know, go around as a DP, right, but certainly it was a movie that propelled him to the, I mean, it was the movie that really solidified his relationship with John Carpenter, because as we know, he was also the DP on Halloween 2, but he was also the DP on Halloween 3, despite the fact that Carpenter didn't direct that movie, but he was also the DP, I think, on Escape from New York as well.
Yeah.
So, and he was also
done Jurassic, right? And
yes, Jurassic Park, the Back to the Future trilogy. I mean, Apollo 13. He did
you
Psycho
think of that
2.
guy's resume. I mean, it's insane what he's done.
I had the wonderful opportunity of actually meeting him at the 40th anniversary convention. Oh, dude, it was he was such a nice guy, and so just,
it's
you know,
funny because everyone
quiet,
asks
humble
me all the time, if who could I meet from the filmmaking side of Halloween, I always say Dean Cundy before Carpenter, because like what you got to do, and to pick his brain a little bit and just like ask him, like, you know, why do you do what you do in certain moments? You know, I'm sure he'd probably give me like, all right, kid, you know, I don't know why, you know, whatever. But he doesn't get enough credit at times on the total brilliance of the original Halloween. I know it's John Carpenter, but he's a big part of that.
Oh, 100%. He's part of the visual aesthetic of the movie. And one of the questions I asked him, because I'd actually made a video on this about the opening shot where the dad takes off the mask, you know, Michael, and, you know, takes off the mask, and then there's that crane shot and that pullback where the parents are just there. And for years and years and years, I knew why the parents weren't, you know, doing anything. And, you know, it's supposed to be that cinematic tableau. But a lot of people were still like, why are they just standing there? I don't really get it. So I did a video on it. And then when I went to the 40th anniversary convention, I took the opportunity to ask him, because I thought, who better to know than the guy who's shooting the film? And sure enough, he confirmed it. He said, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was 100%. It wasn't that, you know, there was like, oh, we forgot to tell the parents to yell and scream at your little boy. No. It's a snapshot, a moment in time of this horrific event. And he confirmed it. So that kind of felt good, that I was like, yeah, I was right. It totally translated that to me. You don't see that a lot nowadays, because it's a very old school sort of way of painting a picture. No pun intended. Yeah, pretty cool. He's just a really humble, cool guy. One of the greatest legendary DPs in the history of cinema, and to have the opportunity to meet him. I mean, yeah, it's so, you know, Halloween, okay, cool, but like as Tony said, look at his fucking resume. Holy shit. It's crazy. Jim Dorsey says, loving the pumpkin, Dave. Yeah, that's right. That little Halloween light up pumpkin back there is from Jim Dorsey. He's a patron of mine, great supporter of the channel. You rock, buddy. Thanks so much. Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to get Halloween underway.
Ready?
Here we go. Hang on. Let me just put in the code here. I've got it on this other screen over here. And ready? 3, 2, 1, play. All right. And the theme is playing.
Yep. I got Compass International pictures up.
Mine just came up right now, so I might be like maybe a second behind you.
Okay.
That's whatever. We'll be at the same
We're close enough.
Yeah, exactly. Mustafa Akkad presents.
Pumpkin up.
Yeah, pumpkins up, baby. Pumpkins up, baby. Donald Pleasance, baby.
I mean, look, the person who made this for me was so back ordered, but I've got a replica one coming my way. Like you know, like how I have the Halloween 2 one in the recent
Yes.
pictures. She was so back ordered that she just couldn't get it to me in time for which is fine. She does a lot of shit for me. I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
you're good. But I've got it coming to me on Monday, an exact replica of this pumpkin that I'm gonna start incorporating into my photos.
Dude, we keep forgetting to hook up. You got to send
I
me
will.
the link to all these people that make you this shit. I need this shit.
will.
I need the Freddy phone. I need the Halloween pumpkins.
Oh,
Charles
yeah,
Cyphers.
absolutely.
Charles Cyphers' name pops up there.
Featuring Kylie Richards, Brian Andrews.
What a great.
Before
I mean,
Kylie
really,
became what's she, the midwife?
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
What a great opening
midwife.
shot. Midwife. Midwife.
I don't know. I don't follow reality.
Yeah, no, I don't. Director of photography Dean Cundy, film editors Tommy Wallace, Charles Bornstein. What a great opening.
Yesterday.
You watched what?
I watched Halloween 3 yesterday. Tommy Wallace.
Yeah, he directed that movie.
That was his first directorial one, right?
It was. He also directed the miniseries It. What do we got here? Jason K says, Tony and Dave, what would happen if the leprechaun encountered the first Halloween movie Michael Myers? Michael would eat him alive. That's what I have to say about that.
A big pile of poop on him.
Executive producer Erwin Yablans, really another guy who's really nice. Really nice man. Deborah Hill.
I wish she was here, man, to be a part of this. What's going on with the franchise right now? That's the only bummer, is her not being a part of all of this.
I absolutely agree. 100%. Because she died before the real convention thing took off in the ways that it is now. I mean, it existed before 2005 when she passed, but it's not like it is now. Halloween night, 1963. Black cats and goblins and broomsticks and ghosts. Yeah, there's the house.
What I love about this is they're using a contraption that no one really knew at the time, the Steadicam. But I loved how he comes out from the tree and he's perfectly center framed in that shot.
Oh yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's no cut. He is perfectly centered framed.
And what's great about this is that like it's creepy, because if Judith and her boyfriend had just looked to the left out the window, they would have seen him standing there.
Yeah.
Like it's just so creepy. And even in the window right now, if Judith had looked to the left instead of the right, going, Michael's around someplace, watch her. See, she looks to the right. If she had looked to the left, well, she kind of looks to the left, but if she had paid, but her boyfriend comes in with the mask. So imagine if she was able to actually see him standing at the window. Imagine that shot. That's fucking crazy. Super chat comes in from Power Packers.
I call her boyfriend $2 Chuck, meaning he got 2 pumps in and that was it. He was done.
He is the greatest lover in the history of cinema.
Absolutely.
Power Packs 90 says, did you know the right eye and nose is Michael and Knife? Did you know the right eye and nose is Michael and Knife? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I'll keep an eye out. If you follow that up again, that might have gotten jumbled up in the question, because, I'm not following that either.
Might have. Bobby Hall says, Dave and Tony, does Michael consciously choose not to speak, or is it beyond his control? That's a good question. Does he consciously choose not to speak? I would say it's likely that he chooses not to speak, but he hasn't spoken for so long that what would he sound like now? I don't know.
Whole, when John Carpenter talked about how he came up with the concept of Michael and the famous speech that we're going to hear later on when he was at the Institute, I think a lot plays into that, into the mental side of someone completely, just shutting down, total shutdown.
Oh, 100%.
I think a lot plays a part into that and where he got the inspiration from Michael not talking.
Right. Like, I think, like, consciously, yes, he probably could speak, but depending on what sort of thing, evil or a combination of evil and mental illness or whatever the case is going on, it's suppressing his ability to speak, and he might not even be aware. It just might be normal to him. Mm-hmm. It's like how the best evil bad guys don't see themselves as evil. Not saying Michael doesn't, but I'm just saying. Joseph Formato, thank you, Joseph, says Judith's BF is why Judith died. It's entirely possible, buddy. I love this shot. Now, I've been to the Myers house, as many of people in the chat room probably have, in Pasadena. When you look through the window...
Is it the doctor's office now?
I think it's an insurance place, or it used to be a chiropractor's place or something. When you look through the window, the stairs are really that narrow. Like they're really narrow because the home is so old.
Yeah.
You know, but this is so great.
This is an, I mean, the fact that it's an optic illusion and not the mask is just so genius. And Sandy Johnson, God bless you. I follow her on Instagram, man. And she's so,
I do too.
She pushes that Judith Myers, man. I love that you guys should follow her on Instagram and really show her some love.
Well, and I think she does it more now because of the 40th anniversary convention. I mean, she was not even aware that this shit existed, and then they found her, and she came to the 40th anniversary convention. I met her, by the way. She's an absolute doll and a sweetheart, and her husband looks like Santa Claus. It's hilarious. Such a nice man.
Nice woman.
Mm-hmm. She is, and her husband looks like Santa Claus. He's a really nice guy. And
legit, like Saint Nick, white beard.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure he's on her Instagram.
Yeah.
But anyway, this whole opening sequence is great.
Trivia, chat room, real quick. Whose hands were doing the stabbing towards Judith when she was getting killed?
Come on, chat room. Who is it? Now here comes the shot, the great shot. Here it is. Now imagine right now, the sound of a camera, snap. Now I know you can see them moving a bit, but you have to think of it in the terms of a cinematic tableau, right? So we have this shot. The crane is arcing back. It's arcing back. Going upwards away from the house. It's
I just know, like Mom Myers sitting there with her hands in her pocket, like.
Yeah. Well, remember, it's a still photo, right? So I mean, it's like this is painting. It's this horrific thing that's just happened against the backdrop of normality. I mean, this quaint little cute wartime home in this peaceful town, and this horrific thing that's happened. It's the juxtaposition of that. It's absolutely beautiful. October 30th, 1978.
Correct. It was Deborah Hill who stabs Judith. And yes, it also was Deborah Hill who grabbed the knife out of the kitchen drawer in the opening scene as well. She did both of those scenes.
She did. And she appears later in the film as well. Right. Let's see. Let's just rip through these couple super chats here. Edward Moody, thank you, buddy. He says, I'm a firefighter in my hometown. The tool Michael Myers is carrying in the teaser and today is called a halogen, a tool used by firefighters. Yes, I have received through social media about 500 messages. Dave, that's the nurse that was in H18 when she comes up. Oh my God, trust me, I've been told. I've been told. And yes, I've had a few people tell me that as well. And you're right, it does look like that. Pretty cool. PowerPax90 says, sorry for not explaining better, dudes. The jack-o'-lantern in the credits, the carving is exposed to look like Michael holding his knife. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I've heard things about that. Yeah. Frank Riker says, DT, thoughts on the TV cuts. Thoughts on the TV cut scenes, especially the hearing with Loomis.
Yeah, the extended made for TV that they reshot like 2 years later.
Yeah, I actually like them.
I do.
I actually like them. I think they had. I just got to say, this here is absolutely stunning. This is beautiful.
Oh, the
because well, yeah, and I don't think they're actually driving at all because I think I've seen some behind they're stationary and you can.
Car, right?
Yes, they're rocking the car. You got some water on it, you know, and a light that'll kind of come up like this. It's actually not that difficult to do. When the outside is completely black, it's actually not that difficult to do. And I've done it in some of my old shit way back in the day. Of course, it doesn't look as good as this, but you totally buy it. You're like, oh yeah, I totally believe that you're outside at night driving a car, and you're not. It's to create the illusion. I love this. I love the mood and how everything's dark outside and you don't know where they are. Like they're on some dark, desolate road. Like I love that shit, man. Thunder and lightning. Woo! It's orgasmic.
Oh, here we go. The patients have escaped.
The
Donald
patients, yes.
Another one. I wish he would be, could be here.
By the way, Edward, I don't know if I said thank you. Thank you, by the way, for the super chat and mentioning that. Yeah, that's cool. And it's cool that you are a firefighter. So thank you for your service, buddy. Firefighters, man, you guys, I mean, fuck, that's where it's at. Those are the heroes.
Absolutely.
Let me see here. Another super.
Nick getting wet.
Oh, Nick Castle getting wet.
I could imagine that day of production, and John must have been just sitting there loving every moment of it. Turn on the hose. More water.
Exactly.
No, more water.
Yeah.
Colder. We need it colder. Castle. What
Yeah.
the hell?
I can't smash the window. Give him a wrench. Here comes the wrench. Now watch. Nick, I don't know if it was Nick or if it was Tommy, but whoever it was that actually smashed the window, you can see the wrench. See? There's the wrench in the hand. Boom, there's the wrench.
Well,
and I think there's a...
See his side, that's totally Nick Castle on the side.
100%. I think that type of scene is going to happen in Halloween Kills as well, if you watch my most recent video I just posted. Super chat from Joseph Formato, or Formato. Thanks, buddy. He says, hi from Atlanta. Hey, he's in Tony's neck of the woods.
You're in my area.
Yeah. Dave, thanks.
An alien, or however they say it. I don't know how Outcast says it.
Oh, yeah.
Or aliens, or whatever it is in Atlanta. But yeah, cool.
Atlanteans?
Maybe? Something like that.
I'm a Torontonian. We're jumping now into Haddonfield. He says, hi from Atlanta. Dave, thanks for giving me a different perspective on watching the franchise. You're awesome for it. I watch your vids as much as I can. I agree with 90% of your thoughts on everything Halloween. I'm glad you said 90 and not 100, because I would have said you're lying. Thank you so much. You rock, buddy, and thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to the hometown buddy.
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, here's the Strode house, a house I've been to and spoke to the owner, as many of us have.
I love the super green trees.
Oh.
In late October.
Well, you know what's really cool? Across the street, right across the street, like on the right side across the street, what's there now is the Pasadena Public Library. It's not there when they're shooting this. It's just an open field. But now there's an actual library there, and there's a bench across the street from this house that's dedicated to Mustafa Akkad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Don't forget to drop the key off the Myers house.
People feel the residents in this area where this movie was filmed, and how they feel about. I mean, they're inundated with people all year, all year long. You know,
they are
filming and taking pictures and stuff. I wonder how they truly feel, because I do like my privacy on my street and where I live. I don't know if I could live in an area where like a big movie like this was made in, because you're always going to have people there.
Yeah, you know, when I was there in 2015 shooting some stuff for my little fan film, I was dressed up as, here comes Tommy Doyle, Laurie! I was dressed up as Michael by the hedge, the actual hedge where he stood, and there was a neighbor across the street. And of course, if you look here behind Tommy and Laurie, you can see the palm trees. Palm trees in Haddonfield? Wah, wah, wah. There was a neighbor that came out and was like, oh, you're dressed up as Michael Myers. And I was like, oh, you must get this a lot. She's like, every day. So it's, yeah, they do get it a lot. I guess, you know, you just take it in stride, right?
Sure.
Now that's a palm tree right there. That tree in front of the Myers house as we're panning by it, that's a palm tree. That's a total, not the tree here with the big sort of eye in it. The tree on the other side, yeah.
In a Midwest farm town.
That's right. That's right. Holly Klein says, Rabbit and Red, these characters loved that strip club. Yeah, it was. It was a strip club in Zombies film, right?
It was.
Yeah. Taylor Swift is in the house. Taylor, what are you doing here? Has the boogeyman come to your house yet? He has.
Yeah.
Boogie, 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 boogie. Lonnie Lamb probably won't get out of the 6th grade. Now, the Myers house, as you see Laurie walking away, and then Myers steps into frame on the right-hand side here in a couple of seconds, just past Laurie, further down about another block, on the left-hand side across the street is where the Myers house sits now, today, in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't move too far.
No. No, it didn't move too far at all. I wish I had you all alone. Ow! Imagine she started doing that. I wish I had you all alone. And she's on the sidewalk doing all this shit.
I'm sure. Well, there's that infamous photo that Kim took, Kim, who was the stills photographer on set, where Jamie Lee turns around and she's smiling, and you know, that big old smile on her face.
Yeah, that's true too.
So there's a very good chance that that's probably what happened in that moment after she finished singing.
Yeah. This scene here that just finished, the one where he says, yeah, for Christ's sakes, you know, he can't drive a car. Well, he was doing very well last night. I love the fact, what I love about that scene, you could think of it as a throwaway line because they never acknowledge it, but I like the fact that the characters, or the character at least, Loomis, even he's acknowledging that it's weird. So even the character in the movie thinks like, what the fuck is going on? How the hell does he even know how to drive a car? Like, I love that they make the character acknowledge it's weird as well, because the audience is going to be like, how the hell does he know how to, and then the character does it. It's like, okay, it feels a little more organic.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Now, if you pay attention to what the teacher is saying in this classroom scene, this is, I mean, this is the message of the movie. I mean, this brings it all home about fate, and I mean, it's so clear. Like, yeah, it's so clear. Even the lighting in this classroom is fantastic. What do we got here? Blu-ray Addict says, I never realized Paris Hilton is Kyle Richards' niece. I didn't know that either. Let's see here. Scrolling down, a couple super chats. David says, how do they pick up an entire house and move it, and why? I don't know how they do it, but they do it. They have done it. I don't think you can keep your basement, though.
That's just possible, yeah.
Yeah, you keep just the first level and the second level. Like, you can't, I don't think you can take your basement with you, because that's underground and part of the foundation. I don't think, anyway. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is
the grammar school still there?
The school here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's there. Oh, there's Mickey Yablons to the far left as Richie. Shout out to Mickey. He's such a really nice guy. I've got to know him a fair bit. He's really, really nice. And, of course, Lonnie Elam is the one in the middle. Now, pay close attention to what he's wearing. You see the red jacket and the number 2? He's actually got a 12 on there. When you look at the sizzle reel, essentially, that Blumhouse released today, you can see that they're doing flashbacks with Lonnie Elam. Richie running into the shape.
I did not want to know that, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
I'm doing my best to avoid anything with the new film.
I'll just make sure to plug your ears. Hey, some super chats came in. Let's tackle these. Johnny T, thanks, buddy, says, you missed mine and a couple other super chats. I missed yours and a couple other super chats. Let me scroll back here. Johnny T, did I miss yours? Yes, there is one, Johnny T. Thanks for saying that, buddy. Now, I know there are others. I don't think I missed anything before that. I think I'm pretty good before that, but I did miss yours. You're right. So let me quickly tackle that. Oh, I see. No, you're right. Yeah, ZGOR Skate 45 says, love palm trees, by the way. Yeah, palm trees are great. Joseph follows up with hometown buds. Tony, rock on, Mr. VoiceMann. Thank you very much, buddy. Johnny T says, you missed mine and a couple other super chats. Oh, let me go back to your super chat. Where'd it go here? I did see it. There it is. You guys ever notice the shadow behind Lindsay in the scene where she answers the phone? Yes, I have noticed that. That's coming up. Coming up eventually. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I got a sign that says Haddonfield 73. It's right over there. You guys can't see it, but I had a sign made.
Very
replica
cool.
Sign.
Very cool. Let's see.
That's right.
Here.
I got popcorn, man. I'm in the movie mode, man.
Yeah, look at that. Look at those hills in Illinois there. Bobby Reeves says, hey Dave, H2O isn't the best sequel in the series, but I think Michael toys with people more in it since the original.
Oh boy.
Example, tapping on the window with LL. You might be right. I can't remember that movie. I haven't seen that movie in
I started a shitstorm last night on Instagram because of H2O.
Oh no! Hey, for those of you that are watching, we're at the scene now where Dr. Loomis is about to find the Rabbit and Red matchbook. The train is going by, which is completely organic. The train just happened to go by at the moment. They were like, roll it, roll it, roll it. That's really awesome. Let's, get that. Sneaky Cayman, am I getting that right? Says, Michael Myers hates people near his house like an old man. It's true. Joseph follows up again with, was okay with McDowell's portrayal in 07, couldn't stand him in 09. No one can replace Donald. Joanna from Canada says, Tony 2 times. If you could only choose one horror character to shoot for the rest of your life, which would it be?
One? That would suck for limiting my creativity, because I like being able to shoot multiple different characters. It gives me a nice, good creative flow. If I had to pick only one of them, Who would give me the biggest flexibility?
We're from Hatfield. Couldn't be prouder. That's what we're at here. Well, just after that.
See, I'm torn between Michael and Freddie. It's a toss-up between those two. It really is. Because Freddie gives me a lot of versatility, different looks, different things I can do with Freddie.
Yeah.
So the creative side of me says go with Freddie, because Michael
Right.
really much is just the mask.
Right. I got you. I got you.
It limits my. So I probably would do Freddie if I could only do one, because of just simply I've got a little more creative outlets to do.
Gotcha.
With one character.
Howard D says Kyle's sister was in Escape to Witch Mountain in '75. Their other sister married a Hilton and unleashed Paris on us all. I thought it was Kyle in Escape from to Witch Mountain, but I guess it was her sister. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the girls are crossing the street now. I have a place for that.
So I am like a second ahead of you.
Yeah. I forgot my chemistry book.
So who cares? I always forget my chemistry book, my math book. Let's see, my sex book, my sexual book.
No, she doesn't say that, but she might as well say that.
I love PJ.
She's great. She's adorable.
She got a nice little booty on her too back in the day.
Yeah, they were all attractive. Now, I have to admit that I don't. Well, Lori, Jamie Lee Curtis was about 19 here, but she looks like she's 30. Annie and Linda, I think they're in their like mid-20s by now.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily.
They feel more like college age
Yeah.
than they actually do high school age. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Let's see, get to a non-super chat here. TJ Studios Entertainment says, did you like Annie in this or Danielle Harris better? Well, they're two different movies and two different interpretations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like Danielle didn't do like a full copy, you know what I mean? So it's two different two different portrayals, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, really, at the end of the day, because it's like saying, who do you like? Who's better? Who's a better Joker, Heath or Joaquin? Yeah, but they're two different Jokers.
Yeah.
They're two different Jokers. We'll get to your super chats in a second here and your questions. Just want to talk about this. This is where the music was like, but they fixed it for a later copy of the film. They actually didn't. It was an audio thing where it went up like an octave or something. They fixed that. Look at these beautiful trees. These trees are like, it really does. For those of you that have never been to Pasadena, it really does look like that. Like these perfectly manicured lawns, and it hasn't changed. I was just there last year. I might be there again in a couple of weeks because I'll be in Hollywood for the Voice Arts Awards. So if I have some time, I might dash over to Pasadena, but we'll see. And it literally looks like that. Like it's perfectly manicured, beautiful.
Very cool.
Is that his car on the left over there?
Yeah. That's the station wagon. You never noticed that before?
I don't think I've ever fucking noticed that before.
Yeah, that's the station wagon.
But the station wagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's out of the car and he's standing by. I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
No.
Or maybe I have, but it's one of those things that I,
just don't pay attention to.
Yeah, and I forgot. But I got to admit, I love the bush scene. It's just so great. It's so iconic. I have a piece of that bush, by the way, in a book.
That's why I say, I tell people when they ask me, should I shoot Michael during the day? I say, yeah, Carpenter did. If you know how to frame the Myers mask out in the day just right, you're going to get really good shots with it.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember, too, is that if you pay attention to this movie, the shots of Michael during the daytime where you can see his mask. I'm not talking about the moment where Richie... Yeah, exactly. I mean, Richie... Sure, he runs into him and you see the bottom of his mask briefly come into frame, but that's not what I'm talking about. Whenever they show, it's always from a distance, across the street, by the school, by the bush in the distance. He's that storm that's on that horizon, that impending ominous doom that's coming. And then when darkness falls and Halloween has arrived, then the storm has arrived and you can utilize him and all. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you can play with him in the daytime. You just don't show him through the trunk of your car putting on a mask and brightly lit light. That was something I love the shot. I love the idea of the shot. I just wish that maybe the shot would have been at night. That's my opinion. Of course, she's about to run into Sheriff Bracken. I I love the way he goes, excuse me, Laurie. Like he's like, yeah. Well, you know it's Halloween, bitch.
You know it's
Joseph
Halloween.
Formato says, best line in all Halloween every time Linda says totally. Yeah, maybe. It's definitely up there.
Totally is
Ricknell,
up there for sure.
Oh, totally. Tommy Ricknell says, D&T, how do you feel about the color grading on the 30th anniversary Blu-ray compared to the older DVDs and Blu-rays? I know there's an issue with it. Or not an issue. Which is the one that has been approved by Dean Cundy? Is that the 35th or is that the Blu-ray from like 10 years ago? I can't remember. I'd have to see a side-by-side comparison to get an idea of what I think it actually is supposed to be. And by the way, I'm planning on doing a video on this eventually in the future, but Nick Castle's coveralls are not
olive green.
Well, I mean, there's
dark olive green.
I
think they're dark olive green.
There's a greenish to them, but I see some people wearing coveralls that are like these bright green. I'm just like, that's not what it is. Tony knows this better than anybody.
I know.
Being a photographer, some of the still images that you see, especially that one where he's coming over the couch and trying to stab the couch. There's people that it's a famous
look at him
shot.
right there. You can even see it. That there's a little. If you pause that
There's
scene,
there's a little
bit of green in it. You can see if you pause that.
Yep. Yeah, right by the laundry sheets. I agree, but it's a dark, very dark,
yeah.
very dark. It's not this bright green that people seem to think. It's not.
I've gotten close with the guys that I've do shoots with Michael. I've gotten close to the same color tone as Carpenter did. I'm not quite there, but I'm close enough.
Right. Let's see here. Sneaky Cabin says Mike's one-handed pull-up game in H2O was killer. One-handed pull-up game.
Because I shared that clip when Michael lowers himself down one arm.
Oh God.
That's a pimp move. That's a cool move, man.
Wow. I can't.
Like, that takes some serious upper body strength to do that.
Well, in reality, yes.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. That's a dope move for the actor.
I've never liked it. I've never liked it.
Really?
Yeah, it's not part of his MO. I just think it's kind of cheesy. Like, what is he doing? Hanging in the rafters, going? I don't know. It just feels weird to me. It just looks awkward. But that's me. That's just me. Don't you think Laurie's bed looks a little too small for her? Because Laurie Jamie Lee Curtis is a big woman, tall.
Because you gotta think in high school. Like I was thinking about this with the girl that I dated. In
long.
high school.
She
long. Had lengthwise. I don't
Yeah.
know because my girlfriend in high school, she had a twin bed. That was about the size of her bed and that looked like a twin bed.
I had a twin bed when I was a kid as well, but she's about 5'8" or 5'9", and the bed just looked a little short for her. But that's just me. This famous shot, of course, that everybody who visits the Strode House in South Pasadena has to go and sit on that stoop, and I accomplished that goal a few years ago, which is pretty cool. And for those of you that may not know,
a lot of people sitting there and taking a shot with a pumpkin in their hand.
Well, for those of you that may not know, maybe who've never been, the owners of the house are fantastic, and they totally accept that their home was used in Halloween. And on the front porch there behind Laurie, they have pumpkins set up, fake ones, and every Halloween they might even have a real one there for you to take over to the stoop and sit down and get your picture taken. So it's really nice of them to do that. I think they figured that we can't beat them, so why not join them? You know, we know that people are going to, so why not give them something to do, and maybe they'll be out of our hair kind of thing, you know? So really nice people. I spoke to the I can't remember now. Was it the woman or the man? It's a husband and wife that live there. I forget which one I talked to, but very nice.
We just got time.
Hit that J. That's right.
Now here comes the story from the Graveyard Keeper about old Charlie Bulls, man.
Yeah, where's the anthology film?
Who here in the chat room thinks there should be an old Charlie Bulls spin-off movie?
No, Dave, that's a stupid idea.
Come on. Hey, he went out to the garage, he grabbed himself a hacksaw, he went back into the kitchen, and then he proceeded to, we need to know what he proceeded to do.
Went all Jack Nicholson shining on his family, I'm sure.
Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Super chat from Bobby Reeves. Thanks, Bobby. Really appreciate it. Says, when they reboot Halloween, do y'all think they should scrap the Laurie character and story and go with a completely new one altogether? I don't know. I just don't think they should reboot Halloween for a long time.
Not in our lifetime, anyways.
No, it's unnecessary to do so. I think technology, because it expands exponentially, I think how we consume our movies and how we consume our entertainment. I mean, VR is just around the corner. And I mean, it's here now, but I'm talking about like full on, in another.
We already got a reboot with Rob Zombies. I mean, how many reboots do you want? You know what I mean?
And really, at the end of the day, even though Halloween 2018 and, is a sequel, it's a soft reboot. So, I mean, it's like, let it go for a bit, just let it go. Like, can you really do it any better 4 years from now that you just did it? Like, it's like, just let it go for a bit, Let a generation or two go by where you tell it again to a new audience, a real new audience.
Yep.
Yeah, Michael's following them.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper. That's a great tune, by the way. I love that tune. RMJ Movie Review says the one-arm pull-down they stole from Innocent Blood, John Lance's movie. Oh, I never heard of it, never seen it.
I didn't know that, but cool info.
Mark Worling says, love the leaves blowing. Great job. Yes, that's right. The fake leaves painted brown. Blowing across the street with a big fan. Robert Englund apparently was on there, on the set, helping that.
I think what this song needs is some more cowbell. I can't do walking, so that's like my horrible, real bad impersonation.
I think what it needs is more cowbell. Come on. Hello. Annie. Are you it's walking? Hey, girls.
I know, right?
I'm sure he could smell it.
That's coming up in a minute.
Now, somebody stole a Halloween mask, some rope, and a couple of knives. So who do you think it is, bitch? Who the fuck do you think it is, bitch?
He actually says that? Like, holy fuck, like, ciphers, calm down, man. What the hell? Liam Hatt says, of course Tony remembers the bed. Oh, I must be really behind here in the chat. There's and folks, again, there's
that like 5 minutes ago.
There's 328 people currently watching. If we don't get to your question, it's nothing personal, of course. Always remember that. Once the film is done, we'll turn to the chat and we'll be able to pay attention to more of the non-super chats as well. But it's always important that we answer the super chats for obvious reasons. But just know, of course, there's lots of people. It's never personal. We try to get to as many as we can. Now,
I love watching Nick Castle driving here. I always focus in on it. Mask on and everything.
Yeah, do you see... Okay, watch the car. Watch the car go behind Loomis. You see behind him there where there's that rail, kind of like the rail thing? That's where the Myers house is now.
Okay.
The Myers house is there right now, right across from what was the hardware store, which I think it's a restaurant now, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt, but of course, we're doing this on the fly, so I didn't want to miss it for those that may not have been to Pasadena and know that. So it's kind of cool. A couple super chats came in here. Joseph Formato says, old Charlie Bulls film, yes. Robert Thidoff says, why did Michael not take the mechanic's truck? Well, because he had the
station wagon.
Yeah, exactly. He had the station wagon. He didn't hop off the train.
He didn't want to get rid of the family truckster.
That's right. I love it. I love the callback to the family truckster. Joanna from Canada says, Dave and Tony, is there a horror movie that you were not a fan of younger, but you grew to love later in life?
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I wasn't really big into it as a kid, but as I became an adult and my taste matured, I appreciated what Tommy Lee Wallace and what they were doing by creating an anthology film. So that, for me, right off the bat would be because I love that movie.
Right. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. So I'll just say Halloween 3 as well, because I didn't like Halloween 3. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but I like it more now than I did 30 years ago. I think with that movie...
hold on, not to interrupt you, but I love how...
It just cuts to black?
Right, you're going from like nice golden sunset, twilight hour, not even there, just going right to fucking black.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Now, this street here, for those of you that may not know, I'll finish what I was saying in a couple of seconds here, but we're doing this on the fly, so there's lots to talk about. This street where the Doyle House and the Wallace House is, that is, I believe it's Orange Grove, I think is the actual name of the street, if I'm not mistaken, and it's right off of Sunset Boulevard, literally well, not literally, but pretty much a stone's throw away from the Elm Street house. I could walk from where Myers is right now to Nancy's home in probably 3 minutes.
Question for you. If you could only pick one as your own home to replicate, would it be the Elm Street house or the Myers house?
To replicate?
As your own home where you live in Toronto, if you could pick one, which one would it be, the Elm Street or the Myers house?
I gotta say, the guy, I forget his name now, is it North Carolina that has the replica of the Myers house? If I were to do that, if you're not first, you're second, right? If you're not first, you're last. And if I was to do that here, people would be like, oh, he's copying
the North Carolina guy, even though you live in fucking Canada.
Exactly. So I think what I would do is I would do a replica of the Elm Street house.
All right.
Just for that. But I got to admit, it would be really fucking... Look at the lighting on the Myers house here as the sheriff's car pulls... I love how the front of the car pulls up into frame. You just see sheriff, and then the camera comes up over the hood like this. We rack focus a bit right onto Cyphers and... or Brackett and Loomis, and look how it's lit.
It's perfectly lit. I mean, when you can read the Strode sign perfectly, right?
Yes.
I mean, as good as your eyes can read it.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've got a well-lit scene.
And that totally looks like that could be moonlight. Like not some street light, but actual moonlight just coming down on the house.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, when you look at a lot of my photographs, and how I like a scene this is what it looks like. I mean, they're in an abandoned house.
100%.
Now you guys know this is where I get it. This is my education. I just studied these films, and I would literally sit here and pause this scene with Loomis and the sheriff, and I would look at the details in the background. I would look at the chip paintings on the wall, even behind Loomis, how much of that is in the shot. Right. And then that, for me, I took and applied it into my own photography when I would do these photos in these abandoned houses.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of this shit when I'm doing those shoots.
Yes. To finish what I was saying before, I think what I appreciate about Halloween 3 now as a grown man is actually the untapped potential of the movie and story. It feels like a story that has a bigger story to tell, and it was almost too big for the movie that they were telling, because it does feel like I wouldn't mind seeing a retelling of that story, because I think there's so much untapped potential in that film. So I think that's what I kind of like about it now when I watch it. And of course, we're here with Sheriff and Loomis in the upstairs, and that thing's about to smash into the window. This is about where Loomis is going to deliver his dialogue. Let's see here. I want to make sure. Okay, a few super chats did come in.
Even like when you look at this scene, you see in the background how much that's lit up by the supposed moonlight.
Right.
And that's a combination of, what Cundy chose as his aperture, and how Tommy Lee was setting, the light to... He created what was supposed to be the moonlight. I see a lot of people do that sometimes, like you say, and it's just so overexposed.
Well, it's so overexposed, or it's too concentrated, so there's a hot spot.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Sweet Tea says, "Happy Halloween, my friends. Happy Halloween to you, Sweet Tea, and thank you very much.
Happy Halloween, Sweet Tea.
Thank you for the super chat." Bobby
Short
Reeves,
for Teresa.
Oh, really? Is it? I didn't know that.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I don't know. It's a lovely day.
If I get that right, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
Bobby Reeves says, "Keep up the good work, guys, and Jesus loves y'all. Jesus loves y'all. Hail Jesus! Jesus loves us all." Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate the super chat. Robert Thinoff says, "Do you agree H4 had the best Halloween atmosphere?"
Has the best intro, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right on the money there, Robert.
As far as making you feel like you're in a Midwest small farm town, which Haddonfield's supposed to be in, Halloween 4 overall has the best aesthetic look. It makes you feel like you're in a Halloween Midwest town, So
Now again, it's just ended, but what Loomis was saying there, saying about how he said, I met this 6-year-old child that's blank, pale, emotionless, face, the black sides, the devil's eyes, and he's going on about how, no conscience, no reason, no understanding, even the rudimentary sense of life. He's painting the picture of what, Myers lacks conscious reason. There is no reason for doing what he's doing in terms of what would be perceived a logical reason. That's right.
This is the birth of Ant-Man, because we all know who Tommy Doyle becomes later on in life. He becomes Paul Rudd.
That's funny.
Paul Rudd's training ground began with Michael Myers, and eventually it evolved to saving the world with Robert Downey Jr.
There you go. That's funny. That really
is
funny.
The Tommy Doyle journey.
That is it. But it's true. Like, Myers doesn't, he lacks the logical. There is no reason for doing what he's doing in this version, right? Because remember, it's supposed to be that one-off film. Of course, if you paint it against the context of the rest of the series, that's different. But there was no. It's important to remember that when you go back and watch this movie, everything you think is pointing to the sister thing is really not, because they didn't make this movie with that intention. Fortunately for Halloween 2, because of the ambiguity of the character and the sort of the style of this film, you could go back and read more into things than is necessary to help you feel justified in the sequel in 4 and 5. But in reality, it doesn't exist. Laurie is actually not related to Michael here, in reality, if you were to take it as its own film. It's just fascinating. It's an interesting dichotomy to be able to compartmentalize in your brain when you're watching the movie, or depending on how you watch the series and things like that. Now, this is one of my favorite shots in any Halloween film, and it's not even Nick Castle, it's Deborah Hill across the street, dressed as the Shape. Look at that! Woo!
Perfectly silhouetted up against the light up against the wall there, or the light up reflecting off her onto the wall.
Yeah, that's like Hitchcock shit right there.
Oh yeah, and it's so. I mean, you see the total outline of the Shape, but it is so. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, that is a perfect silhouette, and then gone, of course.
Yep. Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
And I like it how, from Jamie's perspective of the house, it's a little darker. Whereas Tommy's perspective, it was a little lighter.
That's right. That's right. Let's see here. Okay. Macca525 says, Dave, do you have merch? Would love to get some. Do I have? I do. There's a merch store in the description. There is a merch store in the description, so you can check that out. Will Myers, thank you, Will. Happy Halloween, guys. Go Pats. Go Pats.
Go Pats.
Happy Halloween to you too, Will. Let's see here. The Manhammer AR-15 says, Dave, did you know God came up with the name Jesus because he misunderstood one of the angels and says Jesus? I am not a religious person, so I couldn't confirm or deny that, whether that's a joke or not, but I'd have no problem.
It's a joke.
I'm sure it is.
Laughing as you say it.
But I'd have no problem. I'd have no trouble believing it. This is great. This is great. Everybody now. Oh, Paul. Of course, we're not there yet, but
in 2019, there's no way they could do this. I know there's a deleted scene in the 2018 film where a dog gets it, but with PETA and the oversensitive culture that we're in, no way they would do that now.
Yeah, but here's what's so stupid about that. It's not a real dog being killed. Yeah, but you're suggesting that no, I'm not. It's a movie. It's a movie. And listen, I am an animal lover. I got a cat. I've had cats. I've had dogs in my whole life. But come on, it's a movie. I could understand if they were like, hey man, let's actually kill a fucking dog and hang it in the tree. Yeah, okay, I get it. But they're not doing that.
Are you kidding me? Scarface is more of a violent movie than the Joker, and look at what the hell the backlash from that.
But it was
the violence.
I know, and it was a
Kills
different time.
4 people in the movie.
It was a different time. Of course, this is ironic in many ways. The Thing on the television, and not 4 years later, Carpenter would be remaking The Thing.
What do you know the full title of the original Thing?
It's The Thing from Another Planet, isn't it, or The Thing?
Outer Space.
I
think it's outer space.
Is it outer space? I thought it was the thing from another world, or the thing from another planet. Maybe it is outer space. I don't know. The chat room will let us know.
Chat room will get us. They'll let us know.
I'm gonna phone a friend.
The Thing was the remake. That's what Carpenter called it. But there's
Another
actually
World.
Another World. The Thing from Another World.
We were both wrong.
That's the original full title.
Yes, The Thing from Another World.
Carpenter just shortened it to The Thing.
That's correct. Yeah. And we're here with Laurie and Tommy. Now, see, this is why. See, Laurie doesn't believe in the boogeyman,
Right.
but her subconscious, like it is in there because she's been seeing this weird guy throughout the day. Tommy believes in the boogeyman. This is why it is. If you're gonna bring back somebody in Halloween Kills, you do bring back Tommy because, well, yeah, he's part of that arc. Because at the end of the movie, Laurie says it was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, it was. Tommy was right. She's becoming, oh my God, Tommy was right. So yeah.
This is one of my favorite shots in the movie.
Oh yeah,
When
Half Naked Annie. Oh, you mean yeah?
Yeah, but the actual shot of him in the doorway there, and
it's beautiful.
You can just see the beginning of the outline of the mask, and like that again, just perfectly lit. That's like you've said it many times. The importance of the Myers mask isn't so much having it; it's
here it comes.
How to light it.
Yep. This is Sorry, dude, to interrupt, but we're on the fly. So
there it is. It's right there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
This is a shot. Do you ever watch a movie with somebody who's never seen the movie that you're excited about, and you watch them watching the movie?
Yeah.
This is one of those scenes that if I'm watching Halloween for the first time with somebody who's watching it for the first time, there's multiple scenes in here that I watch their reaction. That is one of them. Yep. Along with the scene that's about to come up when she's on the phone, the sit up and the head turn and shit. Oh, fucking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Tony is bang on. The lighting there was just
it was perfect.
Primo, as they say. Tony Qek, am I saying that right? Happy Halloween, Dave. Happy Halloween to you too, buddy. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did. Woo-wee. So this is where Lindsay is sitting on the couch, and there's the shadow off to the left there from a crew member.
And then there's Michael doing his little head
tilt. Yes,
Again,
little head tilt, watching her.
Just enough out of focus
that's right.
He's in focus, which I love shots like that.
That's right.
Those are my favorite shots.
Exactly. And he's curious. He's tilting his head. There's that childlike, that very rudimentary, very simple curiosity. He doesn't possess the understanding of what's right or wrong. That doesn't make it okay for him to do what he's doing.
Right.
But he doesn't, as Dr. Loomis said, he doesn't possess even the rudimentary sense, which means even the simplest, basic understanding of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong. He's just pure evil.
Yeah.
It's instinctual in many ways. Annie, Paul called. Just think, that little girl there is a real housewife of Beverly Hills, folks.
Good for her.
Look at her. She is a real housewife of Beverly Hills.
Good for her.
I love how she's just, look how stuck she is. Like, what the fuck were you doing, Annie?
Nancy Loomis.
Nancy Keys now.
Yeah, good old Tommy Lee Wallace had that at one point. Actually, probably during the making of this film.
Tommy Lee Wallace had that at one point.
He did. Tommy Lee Wallace had that. Tommy Lee Wallace was tapping that ass.
And I think John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were dating during the making of this movie.
I'm not surprised on that.
Yeah. Well, they actually are. Like, they actually did date, but I think they were actually dating during this movie.
If Deborah Hill never got sick and she never died,
yes,
do you think she could have convinced John to direct another Halloween movie if she was into doing it?
I'll answer that in just 2 seconds. Hang on. Here it is. This is great. This is it. Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. Watch how quickly. Now, this would have been rehearsed. Absolutely. Look at this. Okay, he's not there. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's there. 1, 2, 3. He's there.
And you see him just walking out of frame too.
Yeah, just barely.
Barely. You see that if you look closely, you see the shadow of him walking out of frame, but she's not paying attention.
Right. If you which it could be perceived as a mistake, because I think the intent was to create the there not there.
Yep.
But it's barely noticeable. Like it's if you're just watching, I mean, we've seen this movie thousands of times, that we're going to pick up on those little sort of, kind of things that sometimes happen when you're making a low budget movie.
Yep.
But it doesn't take away from, I mean, the
effect is great.
The effect is great because for all intents and purposes, he is just gone. And it's just amazing. It's just barely see it. It's almost non-existent. Robert Thidoff says, would Halloween 1 be a classic if there is not any sequels? Yes, because it was the
classic regardless, yeah.
Because it was the highest grossing independent movie until the Blair Witch Project.
And it redefined the genre, you know what I mean? It started what the 80s became, you know what I mean?
Yep. It may even be more respected than it is today. It's always possible. Here comes, Here it comes. What's he doing out by the car? See, this is, okay, now he's outside. Meh. What's he doing outside? Is he getting the headstone? Is he getting the rope? Now, this is only, like, I'm thinking maybe it's during this moment here when Lindsay and Annie go inside the Doyle house that Michael has his run-in, spoiler alert, for, but has that shit that they're shooting for Halloween Kills, that flashback. Maybe that's where it happens, because I don't know where else it's going to happen.
And that person talking there in the background where he says, now the horrifying conclusion of the thing, that's Tommy Lee Wallace. That's Tommy Lee Wallace.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's Tommy Lee Wallace.
I did not know that.
No.
See, you learn something new every time you watch it with buddies. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Robert, I was asking Dave, don't forget to answer my question. If Deborah Hill was still alive, do you think she could convince John Carpenter to do another Halloween together? If she was into wanting to do one. And only wanting him to do it.
I think
she could.
I think it's possible because of the history of their relationship, yes.
That's what I'm saying. They have such a strong history and a tight bond with each other,
right,
that if she were into doing it, she could convince him to do it.
Yeah. I think it's possible. Yeah. I agree with Tony. I think it's a very high probability that if she was totally down for it, that yeah, I agree with that. Super chat comes in from Joanna from Canada. Thank you, Joanna. Fun fact: when Tommy first looks out the window and sees Michael standing still, it's actually Deborah Hill. Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? Oh, Paul. Wait, here it comes. No keys.
Nancy,
please, my Paul.
Nancy in real life. Annie, I hate to see you go, but I love to see you walk away.
This song makes no fucking sense. I love this.
This doesn't make any sense. I wish I had you all alone. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But it kind of makes a little more sense than this one. When she goes inside here and she's like, oh, Paul. What did she say? Oh, Paul, I can't stall, or something like that. What does she say again?
I bet you if you were to ask your girl when she's alone, does she sing random shit at times like this and make up words? I guarantee you she'd probably be like, yep, I do that.
Maybe she does. I'll have to ask her. Oh, Paul. Oh, Paul.
No, I'm not saying like that, but I'm just saying just random shit, just like singing something in a melody and just
Yeah. But here's what's funny though. Like it's not a real song because the guy's name is Paul. Well, unless she's changing the name. I'm thinking way too much about this. Here it comes. Nick Castle sitting up in the back seat. Love this. She looks to she's kind of like, what the fuck? Why is there so much fog in here? It's a lot of fog for like a minute. No, look at that shot through the windshield, through the condensation, the fog on the windshield, and that's the closest we've seen of Myers' mask so far up to this point in the movie. That's the clearest, and it's not even that clear, but there's this ghostly image of the mask as we're looking through this fog, because of the breath and everything and all that, and she's oh my God, she's got the hands around her throat. Just a beautiful shot. Just a beautiful shot. Love it. Fucking love that shit. She dies. A very classy, psycho Hitchcockian type death. No blood, no gore. You know what happened. You don't need to see it.
What was Tommy for Halloween? What's his costume in this? Is he
was
Luke?
like no.
Okay. He looked like a young Luke.
He does.
Like a Star Wars type, what kids would have wore back in '78.
Yeah, he kind of looks like, I think he's an astronaut, isn't he, or something, maybe? Or
maybe he's an astronaut. I don't know. I always was curious. I never could
Oh.
like totally hone in on what his outfit was supposed to be as the Halloween costume.
That's it. Thank you. 111 Hi says, "Oh, Paul, I can no longer stall." That's it. Oh, Paul, I can no longer stall. I can no longer stall. I can't. I need to go fuck my Paul. That's essentially what she's saying. Let's be honest here. Lindsay. I love this shot. When he looks out this is so like Hitchcock. Hitchcock, not Hitchcock. I love this. When he comes out and he's carrying the body. Oh, look at the silhouette of him carrying the body. That is so eerie and creepy. Imagine seeing that out your window like there's, what the fuck? Like there's no, like, what's creepy about that, it's not like there's kids, you know, trick-or-treating at the house and he's doing it for the kids. No, it's completely random on its own across the street. It's like, what the fuck? Like, the trick-or-treating looks done. All the lights are like, you know, there's no kids on the street. What is this guy doing? Like, are they just playing amongst themselves? Are they role-playing? Like, what the fuck? Awesome shot. Love that shot.
That's probably the reason why I'm not going to get married, because whoever I get married to, that's what I'm going to do when I carry you over the threshold. I will do the whole monkey, you know, penguin tuck suit for the day and all that fun stuff, and you can do your dress. But when it comes to me carrying you over the threshold in that moment, I'm getting out of the penguin tuxedo, throwing on the coveralls, I'm throwing on the Myers mask, and you're getting into a white t-shirt and you're dead, and I'm carrying you like that. That's how I'm carrying across the threshold. That's why I'm not going to get married.
I'm going to hold you.
That's exactly why I will never get married.
Here comes Tommy, Richie, and what was the other guy's name? He's always that last guy that nobody remembers. Like, it's Harry, Curly, and who again? Oh, yeah, Mo. What's the other guy's name? I don't know. Lonnie goes up to the house, though. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. That's essentially what he says in a minute. And they all take off. So, now, does this happen before what's going to happen in Halloween Kills? I don't know. They all run their separate ways. I don't see Lonnie carrying a little pumpkin. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know. Very strange. Look at his face. He's so proud of himself. He's so fucking proud of himself. Howard D says, off to watch Terminator 6. Wish me luck. Good luck, buddy. Thanks for the super chat. Robert Thidoff says, are you guys open to CGI the leaves to fall colors?
No.
Well,
that's lazy filmmaking.
It is, but that's something that might not be noticeable because it's something that, because it's subtle and it's in the background, and it's something that might be able to be achieved with some authenticity. But at the end of the day, just shoot in the fall. Shoot in a fall climate in the Midwest.
Patrick Hartnett, Tony, the hottest chick in the Halloween franchise. So, are we basing that question on who they became as an adult? Because you know how I feel about Danielle Harris. Or are we going to base it on the age of the individual at that time when the movie came out? That's a good question. It all depends on are we including the entire franchise, including Rob Zombie as well too? Because that's the other thing. Because I can tell you right now, my answer is probably going to shock a lot of people.
Tony, do you know what Haddonfield is? Families, all lined up in rows up and down these streets. You're telling me they're lined up for a slaughterhouse. They could be. And in my sequel concept idea video, I presented the slaughterhouse.
Yep.
Now, people have often asked me, Dave, why does Bob say, I'll tear your clothes off, then I'll tear Lindsay's clothes off? Why does he? Because Lindsay's clearly a 11, 10, 8, 9-year-old girl or whatever she is, and it seems wildly inappropriate. And yes, it is. And I think that's the only thing I can think of is that I'd have to look at the script, which you can download online, and see if that line actually is in the script. But my only thought is it's a way of letting you know how wildly drunk or, you know, how intoxicated Bob is, that he's not thinking right. He's just saying dumb shit. You know, he doesn't actually mean that he's going to take off Lindsay's clothes or tear off her clothes. That's the only thing I can think of. Because other than that, I don't understand why he would say that unless there's something real weird going on with Bob, which I do not think was the intent there. It's totally dark.
Okay, so he's asking the entire franchise and when they're grown up. Then my answer to that question would be Rachel from Halloween 4. And she's real. I will say this. The one good thing about Halloween 5, she's fucking hot. For the short time that she's in Halloween 5, I love that curly blonde hair on her. I'm very thankful to that French director who ruined the fucking movie for the shower scene. And you got to see a little bit of Ellie in the shower there.
Dominic something or other.
Fuck that asshole. He basically took a pile of shit on Halloween 4. I mean, literally, that French fucker knows nothing about horror filmmaking. He may be a great French director in French, but France, whatever, but he don't know shit about fucking making a horror film. He definitely don't know shit about making a Halloween film. How do you fucking kill Rachel off in the first act after surviving Halloween 4 and then force this new girl onto us that we have no idea about who she is, and now she's supposed to be Jamie's older protector sister Tina, and she's gonna fucking save Jamie from Michael? Really? Not fucking Rachel? Asshole.
Just a bit of no, it's all right. Hey man, I do it too. Bit of trivia: the jack-o'-lantern that was carved that Laurie is carrying is actually literally the same pumpkin they used to shoot the opening credits of Halloween.
Yeah.
They just widened everything up and made it look a little more ominous, I guess. But that is the pumpkin they use. At least that's what I have read and I have come to learn. So pretty cool stuff. For me, I think I would pick girl in the entire Halloween. Well, you know what?
Ellie still looks great today. I've seen some videos of her at these conventions and people interview. She looks.
Are we basing on what they look like today? This sounds so like we're objectifying.
I know. No, I
women.
mean,
it sounds so awful. No,
well, because I can't say Danielle Harris in Halloween 4 because she's a little kid.
Well, she's a little kid, but when you first saw her, you were a little kid, and that's why you had a crush on her, right?
In that context, right. Yes. When I first saw Danielle, I was fucking in love. I was like, oh my god, who's this beautiful young girl? Because we're the same age almost.
See, I'm partial to brunettes. I always have been. That doesn't mean that I don't think blondes are attractive, but I will always notice a brunette over a blonde. But I will say that I think I'll go with PJ Souls in the original Halloween. I think it's her personality as well. I think Annie's personality just seems like she'd annoy the hell out of me, and I'd just like, gosh, she just seems so moody and bitchy. Whereas PJ Souls, Linda feels like fun, and like you'd have a lot of fun. I don't just mean like, in the sack or something like that. I just mean in general. She just seems like you'd have a lot of fun. So I'll go with PJ Souls.
Totally.
Grave Warmer Super Chat says, Myers House, most iconic house in horror history. I will say no.
Or I mean, you're saying it's now more iconic than the Psycho House,
the Psycho House, the Amityville Horror House,
the Munsters House. A lot of people know the Munsters House. That's a big iconic house in this genre of monsters and whatnot. The Elm Street House is pretty fucking iconic too.
I was just gonna say that it comes down to what is your criteria for measuring iconic. Right.
Yeah.
And at face value, I interpret it as, what would be the most recognizable house to anybody. And it's not going to be the Myers house. The Myers house would be very low on the list. And that's primarily because it wasn't a central focus in any of the movies apart from the first film. You don't see it again apart from the first two films. And you hardly see it in the second film. And then they change it up so much. True. In the remainder of the sequels, the Myers house, quote unquote, appears in 5 and 6, but it's not the Myers house.
6 bring it back to like sort of what it looks like, but just remodeled.
Kind of, not really. It looks better than it did in Halloween 5, but it still doesn't really look anything like the house. So the Elm Street house is constant. The Psycho house is constant. The Amityville Horror house is constant. Those three, I could show the Psycho house to the average person on the street, they'd go Psycho. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's that's what it probably is. Love the Myers house. It's creepy. It's awesome. It's up there. It's an icon in its own right, but it's not the most iconic house in horror. No, not by a long shot. And there's reasons for it. Get me a beer.
Poor Bob.
Here it comes. Bab. Come on, Bab. Bab. Hey, Bab. I love how there's no music here either.
I love how he's just going through a random stranger's house and just going through their kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I would fucking totally do.
Yep. He's in the kitchen. Love the lighting here. I love how the door just kind of opens ajar. And
Love
obviously,
the product placement of Quaker oatmeal there.
Yes. And obviously that's not Michael opening that door ajar because he's in the pantry there or in the closet or whatever. It's just the wind, just that very subtle. Linda, you asshole. How did she get downstairs?
Heavier.
Yes, I love it. All right, come on out. Boom. Love that. And love how he's just strangling him by the thing. Now, this is, again, we are what? We are almost an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, and we still have not seen Michael's face close up with any clarity. Real clarity now, right?
Right.
We're seeing the shape here, holding up the knife. The storm has arrived. Now, there's no way a butcher knife would hold up a 180-pound man, but you suspend your disbelief because it's really fucking cool. And of course, we capitalize on the shot. I want to know this. Fuck the strength of Michael Myers. I want to know the strength of that butcher knife, which has this nice light being cast onto it. I love that. And Michael does his iconic head tilt, examine it like he's like, oh, what is this? You know,
and you can tell by that scene of Nick Castle standing there, he's not a tall guy.
No.
He's not a tall guy at all.
No, he's about 5'10".
I gotta brag. I think we did a good job recreating this shot. I recreated this shot and shared it the other day on Instagram, and I thought me and my buddy did a real good job of recreating it.
You did a really good job. Folks, if you're not following Tony on Instagram, follow him now. The link is in the description. He has he just took a great photo sort of recreating this scene, but making it his own.
Right.
And it's just beautiful. I love it. I think I liked it. If I haven't,
you did.
Fucking do
you
that.
did.
Okay, cool. Woo! Ah! You totally could hear guys doing that way back in 1978.
I'm sure Carpenter was like, "Come on, bounce him a little bit, girl."
Can you imagine he actually said that? Come on, bounce him. What am I?
Well, her boyfriend. You know who her boyfriend?
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid at the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So of course, PJ Souls, fresh off of Carrie.
Yep.
All right, fine. Why are you going to answer me?
She did a few horror films during this run, right? Carrie, Halloween. What was the other one? Prom Night, right? Or she did another one. She has. She has. I can't remember now. Was it Prom Night or?
I can't remember. The chat room will let us know.
I love this. This is one of my favorite songs in the whole front. The Shape Stalks.
The Shape Stalk is beautiful.
I probably play this more than I actually do the theme.
Yeah, it's just awesome. And the way he grabs her like this, exposing her breasts, and I like the expose the breasts, not because they're breasts, but because it shows the vulnerability. It shows how she doesn't have any control, right? So she's not in a bra, she's in an open shirt, the breasts are exposed, and it's that vulnerability of her being attacked. It's frightening, and in 1978, it would have been frightening. Now, here's our first look, our first real, clear look at the Shapes mask, and what an introduction for it. Look at that right there. Boom, man, picking up the phone, putting it to his ear like he's like, what? You know, like he doesn't know what this device is, or he's never used it because he was only 6 when he went into the, sanitarium.
He's dating her by turning the lights on, turning the lights off.
Yep, cool.
Like,
yeah,
come on over.
Yep.
I got tricks and treats for you here.
Yeah, really, really playing it. It's like a cat that plays with its prey before it kills it. Watch cats, like cats who will pick up a mouse and bat it around and play with it. And the mouse is like just fucking kill the goddamn mouse. A lot of predatory animals will play with their prey, and Michael does that in this movie. Why is he in a ghost costume? He's playing with his prey before he kills them. You could totally interpret it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just that was beautiful. I mean, think how far we are into the movie before we actually finally see his mask, like, really clearly. It's like, damn. That's
do you know Mike? I know Michael's house is 709, but do you know what the actual address was in Haddonfield? What his street is on? I know it's 709 is the house address.
Oh, like
The fake address
fake address. I think it's 4 numbers. I think if I'm
no, it's 709 because you just
is it?
You just
Does it
saw
say
that it said that.
Oh, it says 709.
I knew it was 709.
Oh, I'm thinking Elm Street. I'm thinking 1428 Elm Street.
Is it Lampkin Lane? 709 Lampkin Lane. That's the Haddonfield address for the Myers house.
Yeah, I think so. Loomis sees the car now. It's going off. Couple super chats here. Joseph Formato. Thank you, Joseph. Says, I always figured Michael's head tilt was like, is that brutal enough for this guy? Yeah, good enough. Moving on. You could interpret it like that, I guess. I don't interpret it like that. I think of it's more of an admiration. He's admiring. He's very, he's very simple-minded, and he's just admiring his work. Joanna from Canada says, I never realized, and thank you for the super chat, by the way, I never realized at the beginning of the movie, Laurie and Tommy are in walking distance of each other, but then it takes forever for Laurie and Annie to drive to Tommy's. What the fuck? That's a good
observation.
That's actually a good observation.
I never even thought of that till just now.
That's a good observation.
I don't know how to answer that.
Tommy was walking to school, so maybe I don't know.
That's she's got a point. I mean, when you think about it, it's a very valid point.
It's a fair point. We're thinking way too deep about this now.
Shit.
Now, of course, the interior is not the exterior. So the exterior of the Doyle house is not the interior. That's actually another house next to the Wallace house. I think it might be that house over there on the left.
You're right.
I think.
You are. Yeah, I think you're right.
And then the interior of the Wallace house is also not the exterior of the Wallace house. That's another. So there were actually 4 houses that were used, but I believe they were all on the same street.
Oh, you know what? Red Drum, that would make sense. And he was walking to school and almost there. So that would make sense if like he decided to walk to school and maybe his house wasn't close by, but Laurie lived near the elementary school that he was then that would make more sense. Because Joanna, that would fuck me up a little bit. Like why would they be so close and drive so far to get to, so that would make more sense.
Yep. I agree with that. I love this shot of Laurie crossing the street, coming into the quote-unquote moonlight, out of the moonlight, into the light, into the darkness, into the light, into the dark. Love that. Just beautiful cinematography. And, of course, with Laurie's theme playing and coming up to the house. And is the front of the house lit up?
That's the one.
It's a little bright, but...
That's the one theme I missed from the 2018 film. I wish he would have brought that back in. Full on. You know what I mean?
Full on.
I know you get a kind of subtlety of it, but I wish he would have brought it back in. Maybe he will in Halloween Kills, or
maybe he will.
Halloween
Maybe he will.
You know?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But just creepy, and it's great shit. Let's see here. Christina Anthony says, yeah, because Tommy had to walk such a long time. Oh, yes, we were talking about that. Yes, exactly, Christina. Deadshot Ninja. I loved uncensored stuff.
Same here.
So, of course, now I'm at the point where Laurie is about to enter the house.
Annie? Bob?
Is that you?
That's most definitely not being funny, so stop fooling around.
That line was a little wooden. That line was, of course, it could be in the writing too, but nonetheless. I love how she's about to go and open the pantry or the closet, but she changes her mind because she hears a noise.
See that
shuffling
telephone?
Around.
I got that telephone right over there.
You do.
That's the telephone the girl I had on my photo shoot holding with that's how detailed I pay attention to this shit.
Oh yeah. Yep. And that's the kind of phone that I have to get for It's Me, Billy.
I can send it to you, let you borrow it.
No. I got a place here where I'm gonna get it. Yeah, they have a ton of them. Antique place. It's hard to believe that kind of thing's like antique now.
I know, right? Yeah. No, that is a real phone. That's not a replica. If I had a house, like a line to plug it in, it could work as a real phone.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see here. Scrolling back. Okay. Robert Thidoff says, I meant CGI, the leaves for H1 and 70. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I wouldn't do that. Nope, I would not George Lucas that shit, because this is the movie that you released. This is the movie. And, you know, I want to see the movie as is, as you release it. This is what you did. So, no, I am against going back and CGIing the leaves brown in Halloween 1978.
Did you ever see the little picture, the funny photo of George Lucas's? It's supposed to be George Lucas's backyard in 1977. It's just a simple backyard, and then in 2019, it's just all the CGI.
No, but I would love to see that photo.
It's all this CGI shit. It's the same yard, but it's like just like
Right.
overkill of just a bunch of fucking like epic looking landscapes and shit.
I'd love to see that. This whole sequence of Laurie walking up the stairs into the light, out of the, like the way that Cundy has lit this. Look how the light is falling on the banister. Look at the light and shadows in the back on the window there. Look at the door open ajar, and there's like this reddish sort of hue coming from what's behind there. What is behind that door? There's this reddish hue. Look how Laurie comes into the light there, and we see her face a bit. Just everything is so mood and atmosphere. There you go. I said it. It's fucking amazing. I love that shit. It's that slow burn coming into the room. She opens the door, and there, of course,
there's that
is the
same
reveal.
telephone again that Laurie passed in the kitchen. It's right up there on the nightstand. It's the same one.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. Now, some people have often said that, well, you know, have read into it because of their affection for Halloween 2, that, well, the tombstone is there to, you know, tip Laurie off that, you know, I killed my sister, yeah, and and you're my sister, and look, okay, if you want to read into it like that, okay, but I believe the original intent of that was it's his calling card. He's setting this up. He's letting you know that he came home. It's how he's doing this in his mind. And remember, when Loomis sees the gravestone gone, what does he say? He came home.
Right.
And this is letting people know, or whoever, I don't know. It's his calling card.
I love this shot. Just that slow fade in.
Yes, turn up the dimmer, comes out, love it.
And then we get this. I play this theme so much.
Look at this. Watch how the shape comes around the banister. Do you see the face? Comes around the banister, then comes to the top of the stairs like that. Look, all you see is his legs, man. That's all you need. And watch as he's coming down the stairs, the light catching his mask as he's coming down the stairs, and the rungs of the banister. Oh, fuck, gives me goosebumps. Just fucking brilliant shit. It's orgasmic. I'm getting all excited.
This is singly my favorite sequence scene, however you want to say it. It's the number one scene for me. This whole sequence leading up to her getting to the other house and him stalking her. I fucking love it. The second in line to this would be Halloween 4's rooftop scene. That, to me, as far as building a good suspense and dramatic stalking scene with Michael going after his victims.
That is good.
This is number one, no doubt.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. The one from part 4. I love, it's too bad they weren't able to actually go all out and have the roof on fire like they were going to.
That would have been dope. That would have been seriously dope.
Fuck, that would have been outstanding. Somebody help me, please. Brandon Gregory says, how does the cupboard open with JLC's foot? The cupboard open with JLC's foot. I think you're thinking too literally about it. I think it's more done in this in the style of a presentation. So it's like a reveal in the sense. The reveal just opens up. You know, the cupboard just kind of opens to reveal. There's a lot of things in this movie that are very, I don't want to say stage play like, but very sort of, you know, like the cinematic tableau at the beginning, you know, and it's very much like that's going on. This has got to be, the keys, no keys, but look at this.
Always imitated, but never duplicated.
Bang on, Tony.
All he did was walk. But nobody can ever duplicate what he does here, and all he did was just fucking walk.
Although James Jude Courtney's done a pretty good job.
Yes,
a pretty good job. But look at this. Look how he steps off the curb and he's on the road. Watch this. When he looks back, watch the leaves blowing behind him in the background as he's walking up to the camera. Look at that. Oh, he's walking with intent. There is serious intent, but he's not running. He's just focus like a predator.
Yep.
He doesn't need to run. Fucking awesome shit. Love that shit. Getting goosebumps. Jordan Stevenson says Michael just walks like AAM here, no exaggerated movements. Like I'm here, no. I'm not sure what the AAM is.
Like I'm here and there's no exaggerate.
Like I'm here. Okay, yeah. Yep. I agree, buddy. I agree. And suddenly he's behind the couch. Laurie, he's behind the couch. I'm just gonna kneel here. There he comes. He's gonna come. There's that look. Look at that makeup on her hand. Ooh, her hand is all cut up. Boom! Right into the neck. Ooh, and he's gonna fall down. My girlfriend laughed at this, not because it's a funny scene, but although I kind of laughed too, is when you hear him fall, it's like, it's like kind of, you know, a bit cartoony, but it's funny in a good way, not in a bad way. Oh yeah.
His knee is bent slightly.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And of course, what does she do? What does she do that all good protagonists do in all horror movies? She tosses away the knife.
I wonder if he bent his knees a little bit to hide his leg out of the shot. No, he wouldn't be back there in the shot.
No,
he wouldn't be back there.
No, he doesn't have to be back behind the couch right now. I guarantee you he's not behind the couch. It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're saying in the filmmaking aspect, yes, we as the viewer are meant to think he is back there. We're talking about the actual physical filmmaking part of this. Was Castle back there during that? Probably wasn't.
No. Now, think about this. Because Halloween Kills is a direct sequel to 2018, which is a direct sequel to this movie only, and Halloween 2 from 1981 ceases to exist, the last time we saw Brackett was right here. This is the last time that we saw Sheriff Brackett.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know what happened with his arc.
So all that, you let him out, that never happened. That never happened because that was in Halloween 2. That was in Halloween 2. Unless some strange, weird thing happens that they suddenly make Halloween 2 canon.
I really hope this new movie doesn't take place all in Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. I'm going to hate it so much.
I don't think it will.
I hope not. I really hope not.
I think Laurie spends the whole movie there, and I think that's where the climax of the movie happens.
Not that I haven't seen that before.
No, but that's what I think happens. But Michael doesn't spend the vast majority of the movie at the hospital. Like, he's out. But the last act is, that's what I think happens. One of my favorite lines of all time, one of my favorite shots of all time. I have Nick Castle's autograph, as a lot of us do, and I specifically chose this image, this shot right here for him to sign, because I love it. That one right there. Oh, fuck! This one right here. Woo! Now look at him. Look how intimidating and ominous and fucking bitchin' ass fucking... Look at that. Look at that shit. Look at the fucking lighting on his mouth. It's great shit. He said, to Dave, the voice man, Nick Castle, the shape. I love it. I love the way he signed that. It was so awesome. Look at this shot. Look at this low angle shot as he comes in, that power, that ominous figure. Oh.
Of course, we all know we saw Mikey get a little bit bigger here. Because we know who's about to bust through these doors.
That's true.
Not Nick Castle.
No, it's Tommy Lee Wallace. But because it's from the perspective of Laurie, it could be Nick,
except for when he punches through. When he punches through, you can kind of see it's a little bit bigger. He's got a little more juice on him.
Okay, so yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, just
Tommy Lee Wallace is a big guy. Not like
he's a taller guy. Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Yeah,
78. He's definitely a big dude.
Yep. This is one of the most iconic scenes here in horror. I mean, just period. Don't worry, folks. We'll be getting to the chat room and paying a lot more attention when we can after the movie. Love that you guys are so passionate and watching along with us. You guys are amazing. Look at him breaking through. He's busting through. Get that coat hanger, Laurie. Get it, bitch. Get it. Come on, woman. That shot right there of Tommy Lee Wallace as the shape looking down and over. It's pretty cool. An iconic shot in its own right. Did you know that Tommy Lee Wallace will not sign Michael Myers' photographs as the shape? Because he does not, because he did this one scene, but he feels that, no, because 90% it's Nick Castle.
Yeah.
Nick embodied the physical presence of the shape. So he won't sign it.
Do you know that just goes to show you the generation he's from? Because if that were someone from today, that person would be milking the shit out of it.
Yep. 100%.
And charging people for it.
Yep. Tony Moran! And yeah. Although, to be fair, I think Tony Moran does sign his autographs Michael Myers, which okay.
Now, this is Nick. When the cut to of Michael laying on the ground is Nick.
Yes, 100%. Yep. And she just does it again. She tosses the knife away again. What are you doing, bitch? What are you doing? I think Jamie Lee Curtis says that somebody said that in a screening of Halloween years ago. Like, what are you doing, bitch? Or something like that. She said something like that. Now, this is one of those scenes about to happen here in a couple of seconds that if I'm watching Halloween with somebody who hasn't seen it, I watch them watch this reaction. Or, sorry, I watch them watch this moment to get their reaction, the sit up and the turn. Oh, and again, like, there's nothing like the way Nick sits up and just turns his head. It's so he's a force of nature. He's a predator. It's instinct, man. You know, in terms of like, it's just he's evil.
I mean, this is
look at this. Look at
if not the most iconic shot, it is the definitive shot of this franchise.
Oh, I mean, just so
it really is.
I mean,
you could say him standing up at the staircase silhouetted is an iconic shot, but I think it's the sit up and him just looking that perfectly just out of focus. Again, I said that earlier in the stream, how I love those types of shot where Laurie's here in focus, but you see him, you see the shape of his body. He's just enough out of focus to where you can actually, your eyes can make it in focus.
That's
right.
I
love that shit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They don't, and they don't rack focus.
No, they don't. They keep him until he gets close and then he comes in focus.
Exactly. Bang on. Now that was Nick Castle, I think, but this here is Tony. Yep. Tony Moran. And like, dude, Tony, if you're watching or if you ever watch this, own this, man. Don't talk like you were Michael Myers through the whole movie. Own this part. This is iconic. You're the face. You're the face. Nobody can take that away from you, dude. Nobody can take that away from you. That's iconic in its own right.
Yep.
That's amazing.
And then this was a stunt guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. The guy who falls off the balcony is a separate guy altogether. I forget his name now. But yeah, 6 shots. Falls off. Oh, boom, onto the ground. And there he is lying on the ground. I don't know if that's the stunt guy or Nick Castle lying on the ground there. It could be anybody. You could have it be anybody. God.
Jim
John Carpenter.
Winborn. That's Martin Catherine said Jim Winborn is the stunt guy.
Okay, cool. Now, Laurie, what she actually says there is, it was the boogeyman. But it sounds like she's saying was the boogeyman because the it's part gets lost in her breath. So she goes, so she's like going, was the boogeyman. Like it like she's trying to say it, but it actually is, it was. Carpenter and Curtis have confirmed that. It's also in the script as well.
Cool.
And then Loomis says, as a matter of fact, it was. That's Laurie's
moment. Which would
make
sense to the dialogue.
Exactly. And that's Laurie's moment. That's her arc. She realizes, oh my God, it was the boogeyman and Tommy was right.
Yep.
And Myers is gone, not to set up a sequel, but to just hammer home that message. And Loomis is playing that, I knew this would happen.
Do you think they're going to show a scene from Halloween Kills, what happens here in this sequence?
I hope not.
I hope not either. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see him like getting up, kind of stumbling, and then getting caught and all that.
I don't want to see that.
I don't need to see that.
No, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see the process of evil being obtained. Oh, sorry, apprehended.
Yeah,
I don't need to see that.
And just like how you begin the film, this is, center frame, center shot of the Myers house.
Yeah, that's how you began the film. It's how you end the film. It comes full circle, and Halloween is on the screen, and the credits begin to roll. And there it is, folks, the 1978 classic. We have currently 403 people watching this live stream. You guys are amazing. If you can stick around, do so. I know it's a little late, but Tony and I are going to jump into the chat room and answer some questions. And this is Halloween night here, folks. Of course, it could be November the 1st, depending on where you are in the world now.
Depending on where you are, yeah.
But, and there's that mistake in the credits. Michael, age 23. Tony Moran, it's supposed to say Michael, age 21. And here's what I don't get. they repeat the mistake in the credits in Halloween 2. They repeat the same mistake. Like, I'm like, what?
I often wonder if they do this stuff on purpose just to see if we're paying attention.
No. But what does surprise me in all the different, incarnations on DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and all that, playing with all the different transfers and, making sure everything is, you don't go into the credits and just take out the 3 and put a 1. Like, I'm thinking, if that were me, that would be one of the because I'm so anal when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm so nitpicky when it comes to that kind of shit. I would be like, oh, you mean we're gonna transfer it to Blu-ray now? Okay, great. Can we go in and just make that say 1? Because it's actually incorrect. It actually is factually incorrect. He wasn't 23. He was 21.
Yep.
And they repeat the same mistake in Halloween 2. So I'm just like, I never understood that. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Hey, stick around. We're still going to chat here, but thanks so much for watching Halloween 1978 with Tony and I. We really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Let me see if I missed any super chats here. I think I missed a couple. Let me go back here. Brandon, I think I got that one. Got that one. Okay, I don't think I have, but if your super chat was missed, let me know. Anthony T, thank you very much. Anthony says, I saw Halloween in Chicago in 78. I was 11, and when he sat up, the entire theater screamed loud and yelled. I never heard anything like it ever again in my 50 years of watching movies. That is so cool, man. So awesome.
Envious of that, and very envious for those of you who were able to experience all of this for the very first time, because of course we experienced it later on, and I remember the first time I saw this in 1993 when Blockbuster finally came into town, and I was able to finally see Halloween for the very first time. After seeing 4, 5, and Halloween 2 and 3 for 4 straight years, because that was the first time I saw Halloween 4, which is in '89.
Right.
Didn't have access to this film, couldn't watch it, couldn't rent it from my local mom and pop video store.
Right.
So Blockbuster came, and that scene when he sat up, it gave me chills, just absolute chills, and it still does to this day. It's a very chilling shot that's perfectly composed by Cundy, and perfectly 100%. Lit by Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yeah. I can't say that. I can't remember the first time I watched Halloween. It was definitely in the 80s. It was before Blockbuster, but certainly, same thing. I mean, it's just such an iconic shot. I mean, it's so iconic, and Dean Cundy would have had a hand in the lighting as well, because obviously, when you're a DP,
sure.
you work hand in hand, and so I mean that's just, it's so awesome, super chat here from Paxton Scoggins, if I'm saying that right, says, for both of y'all, thanks very much, buddy. Do you like not knowing what happened to Laurie's parents? Never mentioned. I like the mystery of it. Thoughts? Yeah, it never bothered me.
I mean, we know her dad's a real estate agent. If we're basing it on the fact that they're not brother and sister, and dad went off to work for that day. For all we know, mom and dad could have been home, just passing out candy to trick-or-treaters and not knowing this shit was happening to Laurie,
Yeah, I think it depends on how what you're measuring. I mean, if you're just talking about the first movie, well, they're irrelevant because Laurie was babysitting. So as Tony said, Laurie's parents are probably at home just handing out candy and are completely unaware of the shit that's going on the other side of the neighborhood.
Right.
If you're looking at Halloween 2, well, we do know that they were at a Halloween party.
Right.
And they were on their way home, and they're no longer at the party, so they're in between the party and, home, and where all the shit is
and we don't know
happening.
The time or where the party took place, how long it's going to take them to get home, and how much time does go by while Laurie's in the hospital. To me, I feel like it's several hours.
Exactly.
Some people feel like it's not that long. I think it's several hours have passed by.
Yes. I think you're right. And then of course, I did get a message the other day. I think somebody, where did I see this now? I forget who it was, but they asked me, what was it now? It was something about Laurie's father was. See, I don't think there was. See, again, you have to think of it as Halloween it's its own movie, right? So the parents at the beginning of the movie, Michael's parents, are not Laurie's parents.
Right.
So in the credits, you see Laurie's father, played by Peter Griffith or something like that. And that's the real
Like
estate
a Family
guy.
Guy anytime I hear the name.
I know. Well, yeah, very close.
Yeah.
That's the guy that says, "Don't forget to drop the key off at the Myers house." That's not Michael's dad.
No,
You know, that's a
Laurie's
separate thing.
father.
Right. So that was supposed to be Laurie's dad. So it all depends on, again, it becomes a bit of a conundrum when you start to look at the original movie and try to piece things together, because it was never the intention to do that.
Yeah, because then you end up in the what I call the Halloween black hole.
Yes,
You
yes.
never can get out.
No, and then you just go on and on and on, and you go down, the rabbit hole. Thankfully, like as I said at the beginning of the stream, the original film, because of the nature of the movie, it was that Hitchcockian boogeyman ghost story.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the ambiguity of the sort of movie and who he was and what's Michael and all this kind of stuff, there were a lot of things left up to our imagination that you can now go back and pick out things and go, oh, then that means this and that means that, even though it really doesn't. Thankfully it wasn't concrete, because if it was, a sequel would have been really hard to make.
Sure.
So
Now I got a question for you. I've been dying to ask you this question
Yes,
all week.
sir.
Okay, so I've been watching. Oh yeah, because I've been watching all the Halloween films all week this
Oh
week.
yes, of course,
yeah.
of course.
And,
Hey, it's been on. They've been on AMC too all week.
They have.
Yeah.
So I watched 2018 film again, and then I watched H2O again.
Okay.
And I have a very love-hate relationship with H2O. There's parts of it that I love, and there's parts of it that I hate.
Gotcha.
But I got to tell you what, it's creeping up past the 2018 film. Because I'm gonna ask you this question.
Okay.
Who would you prefer now, knowing what we've got in the payoff? Would you have preferred the studio brought Josh Hartnett back to play Laurie's son, being okay with the fact that H2O has been retconned, but we still want him to be Laurie's son? Or are you still on board with Judy Greer being the daughter? Because I got to tell you, in watching H2O and Josh Hartnett's performance, he gives a stellar performance for the time, playing a 17-year-old kid. He's a solid actor. He's believable. Whereas when I watched the 2018 film here recently, the other day, every fucking time I see that damn fucking Christmas sweater, I just want to go to Judy Greer. Can you get off your fucking high horse for a moment? I know you don't like fucking Halloween, but maybe get off your pedestal and play the part. Pretend like you want to be here and you're not fucking collecting a paycheck. Whereas Josh Hartnett, I think, would come up to play ball and be like, all right, man, let's do this. You want me in a flannel? What do you want me to do?
Okay, this is my thought. It all depends on the story they're telling, because if Halloween 2018 is a direct sequel to the 1978 film, well, then Hartnett doesn't, his character doesn't exist. And I don't want to see his character.
You could, in theory, you could rewrite it into a different way where it picks up from H1, not H2.
Well, you could, but then it's not the same. It's not, what the hell was his name in the movie again?
John.
John. It's not the same John. Right? Like it's an alternate universe, John. So everything that John went through
it's just an alternate universe Laurie.
No, it is. Well, no, it is. Well, not from the first movie though, right?
Not from the first movie, no.
Right. So it's more along the lines of if they
But I'm saying, knowing what you know now, knowing the actor's capability on what Hartnett could bring to the table and what we are now seeing with Judy Greer, I got to tell you, man, when I see Judy Greer on screen, I'm like, can we get her off as fast as possible? I don't like seeing her in the film.
But if you bring back Hartnett and you bring back the John character and you're still negating H2 and H2O, then it's not this. Then that character never went through anything that John did in H2O, because H2O ceases to exist. So, the school in California and the whole, and his friends, that never happened. So it's just fan service, bringing back Josh Hartnett to be John Tate, I think his name was, right?
Yeah.
And
or the fake name, I think it was John Strode, but the hidden name when she was in hiding was John Tate.
So you have John Strode, let's say. Okay. But it's not the same John Strode. So as a fan, as somebody that gets emotionally attached to characters, you have to remember that that character is not the same character. It's the same actor. But
I think I just like the dynamics between Jamie Lee and Josh Hartnett better than I like Judy Greer and Jamie Lee. Does that make sense?
Sure. No, it does. I understand it. But if I was looking at it from a writing perspective, I would then say, well, if you're going to bring, like, if you want to bring back Hartnett and you want this to be the core, the heart of the movie, then why don't you just forget that Resurrection ever happened and do a sequel to H2O? But then, like, how do you explain his head was chopped off? And like, it just becomes like, I understand why they went back and they just said clean slate. Because it gives them more creative control. It's what Star Wars did with the EU. It was like, no. We need to have the upper hand. We need to be able to have full creative control on it all, and then we can pick and choose what we want to bring in. So I say it all. It kind of all depends, but. My response is the same with Danielle, right? It's like, well, wouldn't Danielle have made a better daughter? Well, it's like, okay, but she's not the same Jamie, And then if you're just bringing her back to be her daughter, but she's not Jamie, she's Laura, and she's a different character altogether,
sure.
Then okay, but then it's just fan service. But
I gotta tell you, and I know you're gonna be shocked to hear me say this, if I had to choose between, now that I have seen 3 kids that are Laurie's kids from 3 different universes of Halloween, right, I would prefer Josh Hartnett before Danielle Harris, because I like Danielle, but Josh Hartnett is a better actor. I mean,
gotcha.
When you look at like, as far as talent, I'm not discrediting Danielle Harris as an actress. She's a good actress in what she's done, but as far as the range, and like I said, we never seen Danielle play off of Jamie Lee, so that might be also premature for me to say. What I've seen as far as Josh Hartnett playing off of Jamie Lee and Judy Greer, I like the chemistry with Josh Hartnett better with Jamie Lee Curtis than with Judy Greer.
I think that's fair. One of my favorite Josh Hartnett movies is a little movie called Wicker Park.
That's a good film. That is a good film.
And if you guys haven't seen Wicker Park, I highly recommend it. 2005, I think, somewhere around there. Really, really good movie. Psychological thriller. Super chat from Joseph Formato. Hopefully I'm saying your last name right, buddy. Behind the scenes, PJ had to urge Nick to tighten his grip around her neck with the phone cord because he kept tickling her neck with how loose his grip was. Oh, that's cute. I have heard that. That's cute. Yes, that's awesome. Daniel Palma. Not Danielle. Daniel. Thank you, buddy, for the super chat. Says, sup, guys? Just joining, eating my son's Halloween candy. Woo! Fun night. I'm about to start the stream. Just curious before I go, what's your favorite candy? Halloween candy?
Reese's peanut butter cup. Oh, man.
Yeah,
that and
I'm right
Kit
there.
Kats. That and Kit Kats. It's a toss-up between the two.
Ooh.
Like, if I have a Kit Kat and a Reese's, I'm probably eating them both in my mouth, and it's like New Year's Eve, baby.
Yep. I'm right there. Reese's Pieces Buttercups. Mark Williams, super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, Lindsay's parents coming home later that night to discover dead teens in their bedroom and Lindsay hanging out with a boy across the street. Yeah, I know. That would have been like, what?
Actually, if none of that happened, yeah. Because they ended up at the Mackenzie's house, right?
They did. Well, no. He's just saying, like, can you imagine what the parents thought?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, coming home, seeing dead teenagers and their little kids. Like, what the fuck's going on? DMT Infinity says, hey Dave, if you were given the opportunity to play any slasher besides Freddy Krueger, which you will be playing in Dylan's New Nightmare? Thank you, by the way. Who would you pick? Michael Myers. I mean, if you were to pick an opportunity, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to play Myers.
We can pick any like person who's a killer.
I think so. Ooh, I wouldn't mind being Pennywise.
Sort of in the same ballpark as you. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind playing Joker and doing a very horrific Joker, like going hard, like taking it like Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, and merge it together and create like a Michael Myers type Joker, but who's just cynical and mean. And yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that shit.
Love it. Joseph Formato, just FYI. Oh, it's Formato. So I'm saying that right. All good, Dave. Italian. Formato. Okay, cool.
Formato.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, candy corn is good. I think that's my girlfriend's favorite.
Candy corn is good. Yeah.
No. Is that? Yeah.
That's a little.
Yeah. Oh, she loves candy corn. I love candy corn.
Candy corn is one of those things where if I had it here tonight, I would have been doing this the whole night. I can't help it. It's right in front of me. I'm doing this the whole freaking time. It's just one of those candies that you're always nitpicking at it. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. Let's see here. Tony, you pick one.
Well, did you get all the super chats? Like,
I
are we
think I
good?
did.
Because I want to make sure we don't miss anyone.
Yeah, I think I did. They will definitely let us know if I didn't, but it looks like I did.
Philmatic, thoughts on the H6 mask? I think it's underrated. I agree with you. Of the sequel mask, if we're saying Halloween 2 is technically the Halloween 1 mask, because it is, so we're just saying that's the same mask.
Right.
Anything past Halloween 81 2. The next in line for me probably would be the H6, or as I'm going to throw up and say this in my mouth, Resurrection's mask is actually pretty good. I mean, I hate the movie, but the mask is, I'm not going to lie, that they did a good job on the mask.
The Resurrection mask, in my opinion, Halloween 2018 aside.
Yeah, I was just about to say that as well, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
The Resurrection mask, I think, is the best mask in all the sequels.
Yeah.
And if they had actually painted that, like if they had painted the eyebrows white and not shown
The
Brad,
eyebrows.
not shown Brad Laurie's, I think I'm saying his last name right, not shown his eyes. It's got a Shatner Halloween 1-ish thing going on, like you can see it there.
And take what you just said, everything you just said, how you, the little alterations to that mask, drop that mask onto George P. Wilbur in Halloween 4. That now Halloween 4 arguably becomes maybe one of the best sequels in the franchise, simply because the number one complaint is the freaking pale white, alien looking Michael mask. You take Resurrection's mask, the alterations you just said, put it on Wilbur, changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
That movie becomes a whole different fucking movie.
Oh, it does. And you know what though? It's funny. I got to say this. It's still shit. But I think it's
the Resurrection mask?
No. The H4 mask.
Oh, the H4 mask.
But I think it's shit. Primarily, it's psychological because of where you're coming from. I mean, the H4 mask on its own and its own merits, I mean, it's a creepy looking mask. And I mean, if I saw that standing in the doorway or some dark alley, I'd be like, well, it's fucking creepy, right? Yeah. But because it looks so much, or it doesn't look anything like the original, it's not even in the ballpark, then it's kind of like, what the fuck, right? But I will say, I got to admit, it's still shit. I still don't like it, but it's grown on me a little bit over the years.
Wow.
It's grown on me just a little. I think because I've adopted that mentality that I almost can look at it separate in some weird way.
The H4, there are moments there's moments in H4 when he's looking down at Danielle when she opens up the door, when she's having the dream. That's a dope shot. I do like that shot of Wilbur.
Oh yeah, when he goes like this.
And he's sort of silhouetted, with the blue light shining behind. Like, that is a dope shot. That is a shot where the mask looks solid.
Yeah.
There's other moments in the movie where the mask looks okay, but there's other moments where it just looks like a bad alien.
Oh, like, you know what? I hate to say it, but after he kills Bucky and Bucky is frying on the thing, he looks like fucking Michael Jackson, man. And I hate to say it, but he looks like MJ. And he does. He's there and he's like this. And I'm just like, oh, no, dude, no. That's just an awful shot. Just the way the light it's so overexposed. Everything. I just hate it. Joseph Formato. Oh, I see. Okay, so he says like, oh, my last name is. Oh, so Formato. I see. Joseph Formato. Cool. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate you supporting the channel in the ways you have tonight.
What? This is like the 5th time this week. Some guy at my pizza shop said this to me too. I need to watch Breaking Bad. I've never seen this show ever.
Nor have
in my entire life. I've not seen this show.
I'm right there with you.
People keep telling me I look like this dude from the show, Aaron Paul, who I have no idea who this guy is. I need to look him up. And would I play? I don't even know him, so I can't answer your question. Would I ever play him? Because I don't know him. But like my pizza guy last weekend when I went to pick up my pie for the football game, and he said the same things. Like, you look like the dude from Breaking Bad. I'm like, I've never seen it, so I don't know. And now I'm seeing this again. So. Yeah, I have to look up this dude. I have no idea who this dude is.
Fascinating. I don't know, because I've never seen Breaking Bad either. The J-Verse says, I like the H4 mask. It's, of course, nowhere near as good as the original, but it's not a bad mask. Although, given H4 is the first one I saw, I may have some bias. Well, you know what? That's okay, though. That's understandable. If Halloween 4, like if there had never been a mask before that. Like, I don't think anybody would be saying, oh, that's such a dog shit mask if that had been the mask the whole time, even in Halloween 1 and 2, right? Because on its own, it's kind of creepy. But it's because you come from 1 and 2 and then you go to 4, you're like, what's that? Like, it's a step down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's why Tony said, imagine the resurrection mask with
or
the eyebrows.
One of those two.
Yeah. In 4, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Changes everything.
Yeah, it does. That's funny enough. Greatest Voices says there's something so blank about the H4 mask that it's kind of creepy. I agree. Looks okay when utilized correctly. I agree.
Well, that's what I said. The dream sequence that Jamie's having there at the beginning of the film. There's shots where the mask is very effective.
I agree.
And then there's Bucky's death.
And then there's 100%. 100%.
It's not as bad as H2O though, man. Like I
oh
shared
my
that thing.
God.
The very first time you see Michael's mask, you literally see 3 different masks in the very first moments you see him in the film. When he comes around the corner and the nurse is on the ground looking up, that's the H6 curse mask, okay?
Right.
Then when I think it's when he cuts to and she's trying to escape him, it's the white alien mask. Oh, and then there's a sequence just before that where he shows up behind the nurse in her house before she runs to the next house. It's the hero masks that you see throughout the film. So like literally in the first 7 minutes of H2O, you see 3 different masks, even though there's like 5 masks in that fucking movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And what I don't understand about the CGI mask, and I haven't watched H2O. Hang on a sec. I haven't watched H2O in a while. You just watched it recently.
I watched it the other night.
Okay, well, you can help me out with this. The CGI mask, was it necessary to even use that shot? Could they not have just axed that, like the shot where, like, you see, I forget the character's name now, but you see his face, right? It's like, oh my God.
I call him Eric because he reminds me of the Eric Foreman from that 70s. He looks like kind of a Topher Grace type a little bit.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of the kid that was in Billy Elliot.
That too.
Played Billy Elliot. He kind of looks like that kid. Anyway, we cut to him, right? He does that turnaround and he bumps into the shape, Michael Myers. And then it cuts to him. And then it cuts back to the horrible CGI. And we see him kind of, why even you? I would never have even let that left my fucking editing suite. I would have been like, no, I'm just axing. We'll just stay on the other guy. You know, and I like
Grave Warmer says it right here. They could have done an over the shoulder shot. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't even use that. Don't even bother using that. I just think it's so atrocious. It's so, I would have just axed that altogether. Super chat from Mecca525. Thank you, buddy. Says JLC to mention trauma over here. Trauma. Well, hey, here's what I think. We got 380 people watching, so awesome. So earlier today, I uploaded a video talking about that little sizzle reel / behind the scenes / teaser that Blumhouse released. It's only 20 seconds long. I went through it and talked about it. Thank you, by the way, for those who were like, no, that nurse is the same such. I got just bombarded with everybody. It's the nurse, it's not all over the place. And also, of course, what Michael is holding in his hand there.
God, I'm so glad I'm not doing any of that anymore. Woo.
Well, I'm doing, look, I only do major stuff. Right. Like little stuff like, did you see that Laurie Strode wrapped filming? I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, okay. You know, and I'm going to tell you that Halloween is going to wrap probably in the next very short while. So, I don't need to, upload a video talking about
that. You did it perfect. I meant to compliment you on this because it's my favorite video of yours now, the Star Wars video and the 2 fans. That is fandom nowadays. I mean, in anything, it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or Halloween. That is fandom in its truest form. And that was total genius that you did that shit. And I've never laughed so hard. And that it's even like that with Halloween fans. And God bless you guys for doing that crap.
And the thing is, leading up to 2018, I was doing more of that. I was tackling everything because it was exciting. It was a sequel to the original film. It was the potentiality of it was so big and it was so exciting. It was like leading up to The Force Awakens or something like that, right? It was like, oh my God, like the anticipation. Well, now we've got a movie. So now we know a little bit of what to expect in terms of tone, the visual aesthetic, in terms of what the movie's, going to be kind of like. So, the novelty has worn off a bit. So now I'm tackling just the major shit, right? So anyway, so I did that today. And my prediction, this is just a prediction based on what I'm seeing. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is right. I think this movie is going to be largely about trauma, but not in a bad way. But when you look at who's in there, you have Cyphers, you got, Anthony Michael Hall, you've got Kyle Richards, you've got Marion Chambers.
Everybody who's been deeply impacted by this horrific event.
And because at the very end of that teaser, you see Lori in the, in the stretcher, and she's got blood all over, and it's just a behind the scenes thing, and she's like, Happy Halloween. There's no way. I think that she's probably going to stay most of the movie in the hospital, and they will cut back to her in the hospital. I think Brackett's probably a security guard there. So you'll have some nice exposition there between her and Brackett, because obviously Brackett lost his daughter. And then I think there might be some vigilante justice going on out in Haddonfield between Tommy and Lindsay and Lonnie Lamb, and because of what's happened to Lori. So they're like, oh my God, Michael's back. Now the cat's out of the bag. Michael's in the streets. They play into that. And then you cut back to Lori, and maybe she wants to get out there and help, but no, you're too, wounded, and
this just sounded
blah,
like
blah, blah.
Gordon Green's freaking stealing from Marvel and Endgame and bringing everybody back to fight fucking Thanos.
Well,
right?
It's all in the execution, right? It's all in the execution. But
it
I
sounds
think,
like it though, from the way you're describing it. It sounds like Endgame.
Well, but there's a lot of people there, and
True.
Think about this: there's only so much screen time, okay, that people have. So I mean, we're going to learn Brackett, Tommy, Lindsay, Lonnie Lamb, and Marion Chambers. That's 5 people that we're going to learn how the residual effects of 1978 affected them. And it's going to be through exposition. It's going to obviously be through a flashback, and so that's going to take up a lot of time. And we're going to learn, and then they're probably going to come together somehow. And, but Lori's role, I think she'll be primarily in the hospital. And then eventually the climactic scene, Michael finds his way somehow to the hospital. So unlike Halloween 2 from 1981, where he spends the vast majority of his time in the hospital searching for Lori, I think he's going to finally make his way there. And that's where maybe an epic showdown happens, perhaps. That's just going by what I'm seeing, how I know how these things sort of go. There were a lot of people that were like, Dave, they're copying your, sequel concept idea video. I'm like, no, they're not copying it. It's just that when you know the series and you know the process, you know there's only so much they can do. And that's why, yes, it does look like that they're beginning on the same night. Well, because it's a logical endpoint. They didn't copy me. That's the logical, not endpoint, sorry, endpoint, right? Endpoint. You know what I mean? And that just makes sense. It makes sense. So that's what I think is probably, I had something else I was going to say. I was going to say that, but the 2 characters that I'm most interested in that are coming back are actually Brackett and Marion Chambers, Dr. Loomis's nurse. Okay. And the reason why I'm most interested in them is because Marion Chambers is Dr. Loomis's nurse. And so in theory, when he was captured again, there was a lot of years there where Loomis was still Michael's doctor before Sartain came on. So there's shit that Marion knows. Now, you don't want to just spill it all out. You still got to keep the ambiguity there and the enigma intact. But I'm wondering if she's going to be able to have some dialogue and some really cool, insight into the shape a bit more, almost channeling her former boss, right? Dr. Loomis. And that might be kind of cool. And then Brackett, he lost his only daughter. As far as we know, it's his only, right? And did he develop a relationship with Loomis in those years? Did he go to see Michael at the sanitarium demanding to know answers, as you see some parents do through the grieving period and all that? Like, it's just, I'm really curious to know them. Lindsay and Tommy, gets a little more predictable. But Marion and Brackett is fascinating to me. Anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent there, but
you're good.
let's see here. Super chat comes in from Joseph for Motto. Thank you, Joseph. Really appreciate your support tonight, buddy. You can see Michael's face in the beginning of H5 when a year has passed, and it makes no sense since it takes place 11 years after Michael was burned in the hospital. There's nothing that I agree. Halloween 5, and what doesn't make sense is him stumbling like a drunk up to the hermit's house, and all of a sudden he's what? He's in an evil coma for a year. He doesn't shit. He doesn't pee. He doesn't eat. He's just fine.
Right.
The whole thing
physically is impossible.
It's physically impossible.
Literally,
yeah.
Let's not get into Halloween 5.
What you have to do is how you play the character of Myers and what makes him so attractive, even if you don't realize it, is the fact that it seems plausible. Even the impossible seems plausible. There's a kernel of, and that's why it's so cool.
I would love to, because this is the only way it could possibly happen. I would love to work with you, maybe even pitch the idea to Cecil too, of doing a Halloween fan film and pitching the idea to Ellie and Danielle to come back and retcon Halloween 5 and maybe picking up with their two characters now and the effects of everything that happened to them after Halloween 4. They're both still alive. 5 never happened, because I don't think we would ever get Rachel and Jamie back on the big screen. But like what you're doing here with Dylan I forget his name, the actor.
Miko Hughes.
Miko, thank you. What you're doing with him here, Ellie and Danielle kind of fall in line with that. And it's like, if you pitch the right idea and the right story, your retcon 5, I wouldn't mind that.
And
for a fan film for YouTube.
And you know what? It doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
Like, you make it like a 25, maybe even, like a 20, 25-minute short. Okay, you make it a short because that's more doable. It's less expensive. And you just, since they're sisters anyway, you could just have it take place on Halloween night. They're hanging out, right? You know what I mean? And there's some great exposition, some great dialogue, and Michael shows up. Right. And he shows up and it's this beautiful home or whatever, utilize this nice sort of home, and he shows up and then he wreaks havoc, and that actually would be pretty cool. And you keep it really simple. You don't need to dive into the lore and, just through some nice exposition.
Pick up from where 4 ends, and it's them in the future. 5 never happened.
That's right.
And we kind of see the aftermath of what they've been dealing with.
Right. Maybe Rachel lives alone. She's divorced or something, and it's Halloween, and Danielle, maybe she's divorced too. I don't know. Maybe she's reconnecting with her sister who she lost touch with, right? And she comes over. It's Halloween night, and because that night is very traumatic for them, she comes over and she spends a night, and
we're on to something. We're on to something. We need to do this.
Totally down with that. That would be cool. We'll talk more about this off camera.
Yeah, we will.
All right. So Grungy Ass Cinema says virtually every scene in the first act is flawless mythology building for Michael. What movie are you talking about? Not sure, buddy. Just put an at me so my name is highlighted, and I'll see what it is. Super chat from Mecca525 says Friday the 13th had a video game. Should Halloween get one? Oh, 100%. I want a Halloween video game to be open world, like GTA 5 fucking shit.
Okay.
Yeah, like where you go and there's certain things you have to accomplish that unlock certain things, but you're in Haddonfield. It's an open town, not just a street. And you can play as Loomis, you can play as Laurie, you can play as Michael, you get into the station wagon, you can go to like the fucking store, you can go around, it's totally open world shit. And you can, and depending on what you accomplish, you can unlock different versions of the mask. You can unlock different versions of Loomis. You can unlock Danielle Harris. So now she becomes a character in the movie. I fucking want that. That would be virtually so expensive to do, but just amazing. Joseph Formato says, thank you again, buddy. I'm glad you mentioned a Halloween fan film, Tony, because I wrote my own when H18 released its first trailer, and I plan to film it when I can get a cast and crew together. Awesome. Awesome. That's the way to do it,
Ooh,
man. You're writing shit.
absolutely.
You're putting yourself out there. You're making movies. Today with phones, there's no excuses.
Manhammer AR-15, but didn't explain Jamie becoming a killer at the end of H4. How would you explain that? We don't know if she killed her mom. I do like the one thing that H5 executed on is that she didn't kill the mom. She attacked her mom. So the way I would write Jamie's character present day with Rachel is that Jamie's still dealing with the fact that she did attack her mom. And what's the traumatic experience from that,
Well,
and going through that, you know, and living with that her whole life. And maybe Rachel's a little reserved. Maybe she doesn't trust Jamie the way she did as a kid. Maybe that was a kind of a small break in their relationship. And this brings it back together because Michael's back to get them, which reconnects their dude. We're telling the story, man. I got
I'm totally with you. Yeah. I'm with you. All right, Danielle, I'll get my agents to contact her. Hey, come on, Danielle, let's do this. Of course, we're far away from that right now. Of course, I got Dylan's New Nightmare. I got It's Me, Billy as well. But I'm telling you, I'm open to that. Open to that. Let's see here. Tony Cosgrove, thank you, Tony, much appreciated, says the scene in H18 when he peeps through the bathroom stall was one of the eeriest moments, and I feel like they didn't do enough of that. Thoughts? I agree.
Yeah, but then it was totally shit on by seeing Michael Myers close a fucking trunk.
Yes, and not only that, I didn't particularly like
in slow motion.
Well, during broad daylight. I mean, that's
during broad daylight in slow motion while they're looking through him center frame, like.
Yeah, yeah. It's a listen. I'm not knocking. I mean, if anybody from the crew is, watch. I mean, I'm not. It's tough making movies. There's just certain creative choices that I would have done differently, and that's one. I love the shot. I think the shot's great. But imagine the shot not at 4:00 in the afternoon, but at like 9:00 at night with moonlight down on his face. Like, oh my God, right?
I got one even better. What they could have done, very simple. The trunk is open. It's already open. And you see him walking off with the mask on the side of his hand, and he's walking back to the car. He doesn't put the mask on yet. He just takes it. It's out. The trunk is open. It's the trunk is just out, or him, like you saw in H1, where he's just out of focus at the end there with Jamie Lee, little callback to the out of focus Michael Myers shot. But it's in focus enough where you see him walking off, and he's got the mask in his hand.
Yeah. I'd be open to talking about that. I'd be open if
that's how I would have shot that scene.
If it has to be during the day, then I would say, yeah, we got to do something like that. If the studio and if the writers were open to maybe Michael shows up more towards the evening hours or something or whatever on his way to Haddonfield, then I would say then we shoot that when it's dark. So you can, because that moment, it's the first time we're seeing him in 40 years, for all intents and purposes, putting on the iconic mask, the original mask, for all intents and purposes, from 1978. That, like, I want to have, like, it's got a parallel, right? Like, the last time we saw his mask like that was during the day or during the nighttime with that kind of lighting. So bring it full circle. That's what I would have done. But,
100% agreed.
Let's see here. Zach Frederick says, and speaking of which, in this marathon, they've shown every Halloween except 2 from... I agree, actually. I noticed that on AMC.
Copyright. It's got to be copyright.
Yeah, because Universal, I believe, might own the... It might have something to do with Universal. Because...
Or they own 18 and 2?
Well, they own 2. Yeah, okay. For sure, I think. It's definitely a copyright thing. For sure, which is why you're not seeing 6 and 2. Dylan McMillan says, Dave, do a live commentary or TLJ. Maybe you meant on TLJ? A live commentary on The Last Jedi? Nah. I don't want to do that.
No.
Mecca525 says, how you guys meet each other? Also, Tony Ghostface. Well, Tony and I met, we've never met in person yet, but we met through our love of Halloween. And Tony, about a year and a half or so ago, was doing this kind of stuff, 2 years ago even. And then we just,
Damn, it's been that long.
Yeah, we met.
We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary for doing this show.
I think Next month in November.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, that's how we met. We met through our love of Halloween, and we connected. And I was, and I was like, let's do something.
This.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know what he meant by Ghostface though. Like,
I think maybe how did you come to your love of Ghostface? Maybe
Scream. Well, I mean, came out. It was
because the super chat was how you guys meet each other. Also, Tony Ghostface. Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm trying, dude. If you can like at me in the comment section here, so you don't have to do another super chat. I want to answer that question. I just don't know what you're asking me in reference to Ghostface.
That's right. Let's see here. Lee Bowers. Oh, Lee Bowers, you son of a bitch! You're in the chat room. Lee Bowers says that's a reference, obviously, to It. No, not to It. To Stand By Me. Ooh, it was Lee Bowers, right?
I think so.
In Stand By Me was the one that. Oh no, he wasn't. He was the one that was killed, right? In Stand By Me, I think Lee Bowers. I think he was the one that was killed. I was thinking of. I was thinking of Kiefer Sutherland's face.
I think so.
Character. Anyway, that's why I went, oh, you son of a bitch.
Mecca, where is the Ghostface? Oh, because I used to keep him on my turntable there. No, I just moved him. I moved him up there because I've been listening to my vinyls more, and I just.
Oh, that's Ray Bowers. Sorry.
Yeah, I picked up a new slip mat, and I got a Chucky slip mat. A slip mat is what you put on your turntable that you put your vinyl on top of. So, and I just started listening to more vinyl this week, and it was just kind of a pain in the neck to constantly take it off, and I put it on my camera shelf up over there, so that's why you're not seeing it in the shot, and you're seeing the vinyl to Halloween 4.
Gotcha. And
that
yes, Ray Bowers was from Stand By Me. Lee Bowers. Why was I thinking Lee Bowers? I just totally ruined. That's just okay. Cancel my joke. Tricky15 says, "Hey Dave, your patron Nick from Welland here. Welland, Ontario. I lived in Welland. I went to college there for 2 years back in 1999." And that's where I stayed at. I'm assuming you mean Welland, Ontario, right?
I don't even know where that is.
Niagara Falls, essentially.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Welland. There's Welland, Niagara Falls, and St. Catharines. They're all sort of right there. They're all like 10 minutes from each other. Yes, he says. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I went to college the late 90s, and I went to Niagara College, and I took the broadcasting course there. I studied radio, television, and film, and I stayed at the Niagara College residence, which is on the Welland campus. That's that's funny. Awesome. Welland, good old Welland. I also had my own radio show on the college radio station. I don't know if it still is, but it was 91.5 The Heat, or 90.5 or something, The Heat, or something like that. I did all their station IDs back in the day. That's hilarious. Well, awesome. Thank you thank you. He says, I have a prediction based upon the house on fire shot with Michael Myers emerging with a weapon. I feel they up the ante and he slays the fire department. You could be right. I'm starting to think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think you're right, that he does that at the beginning of Halloween Kills, that he takes out the fire department and he just emerges. Although I will say one of the things, and this might be a bit of a spoiler for those who care about this, but in the little snippet that Blumhouse released today, his mask and his jumpsuit are not burned. They look completely intact. Okay, Tony, you can come back. Tony can come back now. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Let's see here.
Ooh, Alex G asked a good question, and I can actually perform this for you. He says, guys, why do you think the shape stopped the car so long when Annie yelled out to him? You ready? They call that a dramatic pause. Basically, in film, you call that a dramatic pause in a beat, and that's what Carpenter did. It's a dramatic pause to create a little bit of tension, and then he drives off.
Well, yeah, of course.
In essence,
that's right. That's
the simple term, the simple way of explaining that.
Yeah, it's really self-explanatory. It's to create, as Tony said, he's bang on, and I'll just add to that, is to create the impression that Michael heard her, and that's like, oh shit. Right? Hey, jerk, speed kills. What the fuck did you just say to me? Like, that's essentially, that's what's going on there, right? It's like, you said what? come here, right? You know, that's what it is. It's that, and then he drives off. It's like, oh, whew. Okay, maybe he just heard. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, that's what it is. Yeah, 100%. Can you imagine? He rolls down his window. What the fuck did you just say to me?
You need to do a comedy bit like that. You need to find someone who's got an old truckster and do a comedy bit on YouTube.
I didn't realize how many people loved my little 2 bits I did.
Two guys
yeah,
fighting.
the guy. Yeah, that's gotten such great feedback. It's got like, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 views each video, I think. And it's I was like, yeah, the one where I'm on the phone. Come on, man. No, fuck you, man. Come on. By the way, both of those videos are completely improvised.
It's the world of fandom, man. Dude, it's like you can't have an opinion. You can't defer from anyone else without getting... The other night, oh my God, like you would have thought I said Ellie, what's her last name?
Cornell, I think.
Cornell, yeah. You would have thought I said the words Ellie Cornell was a better actress than Jamie Lee Curtis. Never said that. All I said was...
What? You mean you didn't?
Right. All I said was I like the Rachel character better than the Laurie character. I just prefer Rachel's character. I'm not hating. I'm not dissing. The character, not the person who played the character. The character I like better than Laurie. And the shit. Okay, Jamie Lee's a better class actress. And I never said she wasn't. I just said I like the character. Oh,
Tony.
I had to delete that Instagram story because I was getting so much shit just because I had a different opinion than some Halloween fans. I was like, God damn.
But Tony, don't you understand that when you say you prefer something, it means that you absolutely cannot fucking stand the other thing? Do you not realize, Tony, that in the world of fandom, things are black and white? Something is either a 10 out of 10. Do you not realize, Tony, that if you say, you know what, I give that movie a 9 out of 10, you've just essentially said that movie is dog shit. That movie is dog shit. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's dog shit. It's dog shit.
Could you imagine if someone just joined the chat stream right now and they see Dave? Oh, that'd have been funny as fuck.
There's so much, dude. There's so many. The lack of nuance in the world of fandom, and it's not
but
just.
It was never like this when we were growing up.
No, it wasn't. It's unbelievable, and that's why, like, people used to make fun of me in a teasing way, like, all in good fun. When I first began my channel, I still do it, but not as much as I used to, because now I'm just like, oh fuck, it's just I'll be doing it every fucking minute. You'll often hear me say, by and large, generally speaking, at the end of the day, because so many people, Dave, that's like, I didn't mean, come on, read between the lines, people. Nuance. It's still some, like, it doesn't, just because I say, well, you know what, I actually kind of, doesn't, it's unbelievable.
Man. It is, man. It's like rabid pit bulls attacking me, and I'm like, holy fuck.
It's so crazy. And this is all, of course I've been online and, YouTubing and stuff, but I've only been doing my channel for 2 years now, and it was, I just didn't, oh my God, it's like, holy shit, I didn't realize there was that many. And listen, and I do mean this, I sincerely mean this. The vast majority of the people that comment and watch me are incredible. Like,
For
really.
sure.
Absolutely. But every now and then you get that one person that you're like, how the hell did you get that from that? Like, What the hell are you talking about? It's unbelievable. It's so crazy.
Right, they start listing off of like all Jamie Lee's accomplished movies. I'm like, I know Jamie Lee's has a better resume and has done more things. I never said that. I just said I preferred this character over this other character.
In their eyes, you just said that Jamie Lee Curtis is a piece of shit.
Well, I said the other night, and I still stand by it. I prefer the Laurie Strode story arc in H2O better than what I got in the 2018 film. I am not a fan of the Linda Hamilton gunslinging Terminator Laurie Strode. I prefer, Laurie in H2O, Laurie Strode was ass kicking. She went head to head with Michael at the end. I love that iconic shot of her silhouetted, screaming out Michael's name in the dramatic music. I love that. And she's badass. I'm not buying that's what Laurie Strode that I know from 1978 evolved to. No. in H2O, the story arc. I don't like that they took her out of Haddonfield and that far. I don't like that part. But the arc of her character and how she was dealing with the traumatic, changing her name and hiding and all that stuff like that, similar to the 2018, but not this fucking Terminator Linda Hamilton shit. That's the I just don't like that in the 2018 film. I like what she did in H2O.
You know, I think I've heard a lot of people say this, and I get it. I actually get it, and I actually get it. I actually get it. I mean,
I get it. I'm gonna use that. I get it.
I get it.
At my next meeting. I get it.
I get it, man. What the? Oh, come on, man. Oh, fuck you, man. Come on. So I get it. I totally see what they're saying, and there's a part of me that sort of agrees. Although at the same time, I do understand why Halloween 2 from 1981 was axed in this new timeline. I do understand. I mean, they needed to have the creative control and not to, okay, how are we justifying that he survived this fire? I totally get it. But you know what? I think that maybe, listen, it's person specific. Who am I to judge and say that, you know, you're too traumatized over something, right? I mean, everybody reacts differently, you know, but at the end of the day, I do think the extension of the massacre in Halloween 2, the extension of what Laurie went through in Halloween 2, let's forget that Michael was burned, okay? Yeah. Let's forget that he was burned, and that's a bit of a conundrum on how we bring him back in a very believable way. Let's forget that for a minute. Let's put it over here. Everything that Laurie's character went through leading up to that moment only helps the believability of her performance in Halloween 2018.
Sure. I get that.
And so there are some people that are like, you know, maybe if they hadn't axed H2, I'd believe it more. You know, or I'd buy into it more that she's like this fucking, you know, and this really, but then at the same time, she did just witness, for all intents and purposes, her best friend's murdered. And, you know, I mean, who am I to judge to say that, oh, you're too, oh, come on, get over it by now. I mean, I'm just saying that I do understand where people are coming from when they say that it would only help the development of that character in the 2018 film. So, but then of course you're faced, you know, with the inevitable conundrum of how do we bring Michael back in a very believable way that people buy into? So, you know,
John S. Williams, he just basically summed up the world we live in right now. He says, word for word, you just said you like Jamie Lee Curtis better than Jamie Lee Curtis. You must hate Jamie Lee Curtis. That is the world we live in.
Who said that?
That was me, John S. Williams. That is the comment of the day. That wins the comment of the day for sure.
I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Nick P was here. Apparently he was here. Part 1 and Part 2 are solid. H2O was underrated. Josh Hartnett and all. The 2018 version wasn't bad, but it was silly at times. The Doctor laughed my ass off. Thanks for the comment, buddy.
Yeah, I gotta say this. I said this the other day. Halloween 2, I didn't watch it as much as a kid. You know what I mean? I might have watched it, but it wasn't one that I went to often. As I've gotten older, I go to it a lot more now. I will always watch 1 and 2 back to back. Although tonight I did it in reverse. Before we started the stream, I watched Halloween 2.
Right.
And knowing that we were going to do this and how much we were going to go afterwards, I did Halloween 1 with you guys.
Yes.
And it really is a complete story when you watch 1 and 2. It
is.
Dick did a great job.
Gotta love that Dick, man.
Gotta love that Dick, man. He did. It's big shoes to fill, but he did a really good job, you know, making a good sequel. Of course, it does help having Cundy back, you know, and Carpenter, you know, writing the script as well, too. Over a 6-pack and some pizza, right? Is that what he says?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like something 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that.
Yeah. So that helps, but it's a solid sequel. And I really do appreciate it. To me, it is the definitive sequel.
Right.
In the Halloween universe that I prefer.
Same with me.
And H2O, I gotta say, I do like H2O better than the 2018 film. And I have a very interesting love-hate relationship with H2O. I really do. There's a lot, like he was saying, Josh Hartnett's performance is solid. LL, I love LL when he's talking to his girl on the phone. He's got me cracking up. You know, Michelle Williams, she was solid. She, you know, and she's gone on to obviously become an Academy Award winning actress right now. Yep. And even, you know, the Jodie Lynn O'Keefe and the Eric Foreman lookalike character, Adam Arkin. I always forget Adam Arkin is Laurie Strode's love interest in the film. Like,
is it? Wait. Is it Adam Arkin or
it's Adam something? Or am I reversing the name?
Yes,
I might be. It might be reversing the names. I always screw up his name. Sorry, guys. His name I always like dyslexic and say either something backwards or whatever.
Yeah, it's Alan something.
Alan or whatever. I don't know. I know I'm close. I know I'm in the ballpark of his name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Adam Arkin.
Close. All right.
Yeah. Alan is a different actor.
Gotcha. So Adam, he's, you know, his performance was solid as Jamie Lee's love interest. And of course you got Janet Leigh in the film as well too. And it's great seeing Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee in share some screen time together. The performances are great. The problems that I have with H2 are the masks, which is, you know, no. And taking it too far out of Haddonfield. I actually suggested this the other night on Instagram. What if they had put Jamie Lee out of Haddonfield, but in a town like Russellville, a town that people know within the Halloween franchise, that she's far enough away, but close enough that the climax of the film brings her back to Haddonfield to confront Michael.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely would have been interesting. I'm not a fan of H2O. But there, like every Halloween sequel, I can find redeeming qualities,
right,
which makes it more frustrating for me because I'm like, oh, if only, you know, you could have done this. But I can totally see what you're saying. And I agree with what you're saying in the sense that I see it from your perspective. And that's not actually a bad idea. I mean, obviously they planted it in California to show that she's running, right? She's gone a vast, you know, distance, and this is really how it's affected her. But yeah, that would have been interesting. I mean, plant, you know, Russellville. I mean, it was never really established where Russellville is in relation to Haddonfield.
No, because it's mentioned in Halloween 2 at the beginning, right? In the conversation that Alice is having on the phone. Or no, somebody says Russellville in Halloween 2. I just watched it tonight. That's right. Over there in Russellville.
Well, the graveyard guy says it in the first Halloween.
Yeah, I know, but someone says it in H2. I just fucking heard it.
Yeah, the chat room will let us know.
Somebody help me.
Let's phone a friend. Room. That's what we should call it from now on. All right, we're gonna phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
But so let's say that, you know, Russellville is like 30 miles down the road.
Right.
I mean, that's close enough that it makes sense that people would be talking about it, but it's far enough away that you might be able to buy that she just wanted to get out of the area, you know? So, I mean...
Pamela says, that's right. Pamela says it because of when she has to get to work and she's talking... I'm drawing a blank now. I know when she says it. Thank you. I know when she says it. I see the scene in my head. I see the scene in my head now. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. I think I know this. She's arriving with that other her friend, right, or whatever. Correct. They get in that car.
Yeah.
Get in the car, not too far from the car.
But that's my point. Russellville is an established town that people know within the continuity of Halloween. So, like you said, it's if in H2O, rather than taking Laurie so far away, she's in Russellville. She's teaching, you know, whatever. Changed her name, you know, all that stuff, and. Like I said, the ending where she drives with Michael in the van, instead of driving down a hillside, she drives back to Haddonfield, and boom, then you have an epic showdown in Haddonfield.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's if that was presented to me and you said, "Hey, man, I think we should do this," I'd be like, "I'm going with Tony's idea." Let's just, yeah, 100%.
Let's do that.
I'll figure out all the details later, but.
I hear what you're saying with H2O. You know, like I said, it's a love-hate relationship with that movie, but I do prefer it over the 2018 film. Gotcha.
Let's see here. Questions. We're going to go to midnight our time, because then that is officially the end of Halloween. So another 20 minutes.
November.
Yeah.
So get your questions in, guys.
Get your questions in. You got 19 more minutes until November the 1st for us. Of course, it's already November the 1st for the folks overseas, and it's only 8:41 for those on the West Coast. Let's see here. Am I going to say this right? Rayuno Pella? Dave, would you agree that using piano as main instrument for Halloween theme enhances the overall dark atmosphere? In my opinion, the H2 1981 soundtrack with the synthesizers doesn't sound as creepy. Yes, I do agree with what you're saying. I actually love the theme and all the music in Halloween 2, 1981. I think what Alan Howarth did was great. But you're right. It doesn't necessarily add it's not necessarily creepy, but it does become more, it becomes more, ethereal and
Yes.
gothic kind of sounding, but not gothic in the sense that you would think like some, gothic chick. I just mean like a very sort of,
You're not talking like Daniel Harrison, Urban Legends Gothic.
No. I just mean more of a real sort of evil kind of stormy presence, not necessarily the creepy, subtle eeriness that the piano does in the original. It's the same music, but very different renditions of it. And I think they stand alone. It's very difficult to compare them because they're utilizing two different instruments to do it. Well, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Alan Howarth he kept Carpenter's there, but he laid over top. I think, yes, I think I think he said that, but I stand to be corrected.
Yeah, I gotta say, his Halloween 4 score is one of my favorites. Like when they roll him out on the stretcher there at the beginning of the film, I gotta say his score in that film, because of the backbeat that's dropped behind the theme, it's really fucking good. It is real good.
And you know what? All of Howarth's music is good. Like, I mean, I gotta say, I like his music in H4. I like his music in H5.
His music in H5 is just a shitty movie.
Yeah, I like his music in H6. I love his music.
Yes, H6, his score in H6 is really good.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. And that was the last Halloween film he did. Because I don't think he did Resurrection or H2O.
No, that was H2O was our Scream buddy. Well, the guy who composed Scream. That's why the Scream soundtrack shows up in there. There's two There's two composers in the Halloween H2O, and I can't remember their names. One of them is a composer from Scream who came in, and that's why you hear the Scream score at one point in H2O.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. You do. PC Pierce, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Says thoughts on It Follows. I really liked It Follows a lot. Love the mood, the atmosphere, and the it was a genuinely creepy film. There's certain things in there that I'm like, I don't understand why this person would make that choice in terms of the character. But overall, I thought it was genuinely creepy. I'm not a big fan of the whole idea of it's passed through sex. I think that's kind of, I mean, you know what? It's different, and they were trying something new, and it was a genuinely creepy little independent horror movie. So yeah, there was some nice moments in there where I thought that's really well done. That's really creepy. So yeah, man, I liked it.
Big Joe, Joseph Famato, man, another super chat tonight, bro. Thanks, appreciate that. Imagine Season of the Witch wasn't Halloween 3, and you were responsible for coming up with the idea for H3 in the early 80s. What would your story be? Halloween 4? I mean, honestly, that would be the follow-up to Halloween 2 with Michael. Would be Halloween 4. That would be the story.
I guess Joseph might mean as well that if you had to go the anthology route, but you couldn't choose Season of the Witch, which would you go? I can tell you right now, Old Charlie Bowles in Russellville.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Bowles himself, if you had gone that route, may be an iconic killer right now. I mean, we have no idea, because it's 1982. It's still in the early stages of the slasher genre.
Yep, that's true.
That movie, even though it's not Michael Myers, if you delivered on another it might have taken off. It might have. I don't know. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. Super chat before his as well. Mako525, thank you very much once again. Sons of Anarchy or Game of Thrones? Me, Sons of Anarchy. I haven't seen either, so I don't really know.
I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I have seen some episodes of Sons of Anarchy, and that was solid. I thought I didn't stick with it, but it's for what I saw of it, and I've seen enough episodes of it that it's a decent. It was a decent show, so
Gotcha.
I have to go with that just by default because I didn't see the other. I'm not a big into that. Like, is Game of Thrones kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing? And I'm probably gonna get laughed at because I just probably ruined what Game of Thrones really is. But like in my mind, I picture it to be dragons and kings and queens and people fighting with swords and shit.
Well, I think that's the no, I don't think that's the narrative per se, but I think I understand what you're saying. The time period for which Game of Thrones is set in does not interest me. I have no doubt that it's great writing, and I have no doubt that if I sat down and watched an episode or two, like, yeah, that was really good. But I have no interest in that. I don't like that time. I'm just not interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen an episode.
Same here.
Yeah. PC Pierce says, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Top 3 horror scores besides Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, I would probably put, hang on a sec. Tony knows, I know what Tony's going to pick. First out of his mouth right now. He wants to say it. Exorcist. All right. Let's say, okay, I'm going to say my top 3. Exorcist. And this is in no particular order. Exorcist.
Scores you're talking about, right? Just scores. You're not talking about like he's back, the man behind the mask. And
right? Yeah. No, that's right.
Not Dream Warriors from.
No.
Okay.
We're talking scores.
Scores. Okay.
So Exorcist. Tony will agree with that one for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say original Psycho.
Yeah.
That's a great theme. And then although it's a not traditionally seen as a horror movie, it has horror aspects of it. I gotta go Jaws.
Yeah, that's about my 3, except The Shining. I would put The Shining in there.
Oh, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
I love that.
Oh,
that deep horn sound of just
fuck yeah,
throwing your balance off and like, what the fuck is going on here? Like Kubrick did a great job.
Fucking right, man.
Not Kubrick, but the composer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
The Exorcist is definitely on my list for the second in line as far as horror film soundtracks go.
Yeah.
And I do actually I watch or I listen to Scream soundtrack on vinyl, and the Scream original soundtrack is the orchestra music that's put together in that film is pretty solid. And even now I listened to a little bit of it today. That's the I don't know if you see that. I just got it today.
No, I don't.
It's the 1988 Child's Play on soundtrack. It is on vinyl, and I just got that bad boy today. I listened to a little bit of it, and I actually didn't realize how good the original 88 Child's Play soundtrack is. It's actually pretty. The music composed is pretty solid. That's tough, but definitely The Exorcist and Jaws is a good one too. And
but Jaws is not just a great.
I know.
It's one of the greatest themes of all time. I mean, it's composed by John Williams, of course, and it's tough. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, The Shining for sure.
Shining's amazing. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's Psycho. Just take Psycho. You can take Psycho too, man. Psycho's fantastic. Good. Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go with the Munsters theme song. How about that?
What about Addams Family?
You know what? I wasn't a big Addams Family fan. I like Addams Family movie because I love me some Christina Ricci. Right. And Raul Julia I thought was great as Gomez.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big. I'm more of a Munster like Yvonne.
Right.
Yvonne.
Right. Yep.
Whew.
Gotcha.
Lily. Yeah. I love me some Lily. I love me some that rockabilly.
He loves him some Lily, man.
Oh yeah, Lily Munster. She is the shit.
Tricky15 says, "Hey folks and Dave, one more insight. So, have you considered with the shown shots and masks that they may do some flashbacks to even the 2018 film from different perspectives?" Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they might do that. They might show a bit of flashbacks to just the 2018 film, seeing some of the events unfold from a different perspective. Maybe Tommy was out that night and we just never saw him in the 2018 film, or Brackett was out that night and we never saw him. So yeah, that's entirely possible. It might happen. Okay, 9 more minutes left in the show in this Halloween special. That's episode 44 of Two Dudes and Some bullshit.
Yeah, we got another special one for you guys coming up here soon too.
Yes, that's right.
You guys are gonna like it.
Yeah, you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like it a lot.
Like
at least I hope you guys like it.
Well, I hope they do. They'll fucking like it. They'll like it.
Greatest voices at Dave and Tony.
Greatest voices.
Yeah, greatest voices. You guys do it better than anyone else. Always have great commentary and insight. Well, appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
I don't like to say I do it better than everybody. I like to say I like to bring it from a different point of view, and everybody has their own, creative approach at stuff. Like, I like listening to the guys over at Wham and Cody. I like their insights are really cool. There's sometimes when the guys at Wham are throwing shit out there, I'm like, I never would have thought of it from that way. So it's cool to listen to other people's points of view.
100%. I absolutely agree with you. I think, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, the one thing that I wanted to bring to the show with Tony is just a sense of energy and a sense of passion for what we're talking about and making it as interesting as possible, because we're aware it's a long format show. So, it's like, it's a podcast and it's a long format podcast. And, you're listening to us for, well, on average about 2.5 hours. Tonight it's 3 hours, obviously, because of the
Halloween special.
Yeah, but so just a certain kind of energy we want to bring to the show, and definitely in the very near future we are looking to have guests on, so stay tuned for that.
There you go.
Let's see here. Entertainment Wizard says,
yes,
Dave,
we're bringing our girlfriends on, and we're gonna call it Two Dudes and Some Bitches. No, I am so kidding. I am so kidding. Like, PC culture, don't come and attack me now. I am so kidding. I just wanted to go ghetto for a minute.
If my girlfriend is watching right now, she'd be laughing at that. She'd think that was really funny. She'd think that was really funny. That's so funny. She's probably in bed though. Let's see here. There was something I was about to read something. What was it? Entertainment Wizard says, Dave, since you're not a big fan of H2O, if you were given access to the movie and you could make any changes, what would you? Well, I mean, just the foundation, the setting, just take it out of California, send it back to the Midwest. That's the first thing I would do. What I would do then from there on, I don't know, because then you have to figure out, is it the same location? Is it still a school? Is it still a prep school? Is it still a private school? Is Lori still the dean of the school, or, whatever she was? Is it still a private school, or is it a public? I mean, there's so many things you got to figure out, but the first thing I would do is remove it from California.
Yeah.
Troy Stacha, thank you very much, buddy. Says Halloween Kills IMDb cast gives insight into plot. Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen the cast list, and you can sort of you can come up with some ideas from it for sure. K Dizzle, thanks, K Dizzle, thanks, buddy.
Dizzle, the shizzle.
Let this go to your Black Christmas fan film. All right, it's gonna go. Once Bruce and I finally enter pre-production and the Indiegogo campaign is launched for It's Me, Billy, then you'll have an opportunity to donate specifically to the production. Joseph Formato, again, buddy, been really great tonight. Really appreciate your support, man. Everything goes right back into the channel. Yeah. If you could go back in time to see a classic film, horror or not, the day it was originally theatrically released, which film would you see? Oh, well, it would be one of the staples that changed cinema, like Jaws or 2001 or The Exorcist, Halloween, Psycho.
That's
I mean,
tough.
Star Wars.
One, like Star Wars.
But yeah.
Halloween, Jaws. Yeah, that's tough to be able to pick one.
Yeah.
I would like to my idea of heaven would be reliving the 70s and 80s and just being stuck in like this crazy time loop, and that's my idea of what heaven would be like for me.
Wow.
So I get to experience it all over and over and over again.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. Michael Myers says, what is your favorite Godzilla monster? You mean like that he fights? Probably either King Ghidorah or King Ghidorah.
King Kong.
Yeah, he's not my favorite that he fights, but I'd say either King Ghidorah, Gigon. Yeah, probably one of those two, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Nick P was here, says Temple of Doom. I would love to see an Indiana Jones movie in the theater. The only one I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in the theater back when it came out. I did say that, but it's not my favorite Indiana Jones. My favorite's Temple. Best is Raiders, but my favorite's Temple.
For sure. I have to watch those so we can do a stream one night.
Yes.
I haven't forgotten. I just haven't had time.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna do it.
Film addict, favorite Jack Torrance line. It's crazy that Nicholson is in his 80s now. Yeah, that is crazy. The last photo of him, he was a little out of shape there. But hey, man, when you get to fucking 80 at that point, you're just like, man, fuck it, dude. I'm gonna eat whatever the hell I want. I'm 80.
Not,
he's
not
earned it.
Not everybody can look as good as Sly and Arnie.
Yeah, that's true. But as far as Jack, the Torrance line from The Shining, I love it when he begins to mock Wendy, where he's like, Wendy, or he's like,
yes, he's at the typewriter, right?
Right. And she's walking like, we need to get him to the hospital. Like, you think we need to get him to the hospital? When do you think we should get him to the hospital? As soon as possible. As soon as possible. And he started mocking her. I love that. And I obviously, when he's like, Wendy, light of my life, I don't want to hurt you with that baseball bat. I want to kill you. Like, whatever. I'm paraphrasing that whole fucking scene, but that would be
right
in a nutshell.
I was just trying to look it up. Wendy line. Damn it. Yeah, I wish I had time. I don't have time right now, but I agree with you. My favorite line, I guess it's lines. It's plural, but it's such a great scene where he's typing at the typewriter and Wendy's over and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? You know, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "I'm trying. Can't you see that I'm," and he just gets, and it's so awesome the way he delivers it. And Shelley Duvall just plays that so beautifully. And it's just, you can see his descent into madness has begun, you know, and it's just such a great scene. I love that. Nicholson's performance in that is outstanding. Absolutely. Oh yeah. It's so great. Let's see here. Okay. Couple more minutes. Couple more minutes. PC Pierce says, quick. What is the meaning of life? The meaning of life, this is the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to do the best you can at whatever it is and to always remember that you never fail if you learn. It's about learning, because if there is more to life when we die, if there is an afterlife, or if there is something where our consciousness goes, obviously our bodies die, but if there is something more, the only thing we could take with us is what we've learned, because we can't take anything physically with us. So I think that's what it is. You weren't expecting a profound answer like that, were you?
Wait, listen, I was just going to say, man, the meaning of life to me is
have
very
as much
simple.
sex as possible. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Well, yeah. And
yeah.
Well, I really can't follow that. I mean, really, how the fuck am I going to follow that?
Good night, everybody.
But to just really, honestly, just to enjoy our time while we're here, because it's a very short time. I mean, to sit there, you know, I'm not sure if Dave's been like this since he turned 40 in May, but for me, I've been very reflective, you know, like I'm 40 now and here going like, fuck, like if I live to 80 plus, you know, I'm already halfway done. Like, I don't feel like I should be halfway done. I feel like I should still be, you know, in my late teens, early 20s and, you know, just beginning. But no, I'm at this stage in life now. And I don't feel like I should be here. So I do find that now that I'm 40, I'm very reflective. So our life here is short. And that's why, like, you know, I love interacting with you guys on Instagram. But when it comes to the fandom stuff, like, don't take it to that level, because it's not that serious. It's not to that point where you have to get angry about this stuff, because when it comes down to it, like this question, what's the meaning of life? The meaning of life isn't to get angry over something that you enjoy. The point of it is to enjoy it, and enjoy it while you're here, because when you're gone, this ain't coming with me. None of this shit's coming with me.
That's right.
So enjoy it while you have the chance, and just stay away from the negative stuff, and don't be so rabid when it comes to things. Just enjoy it.
100%. And, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, the meaning of life really is what you make it, because we're all on a path that is different, right? I mean, I have a different job than what you have. And, you know, maybe, I mean, I have a different job than somebody who works as a clerk or somebody, you know, so their meaning in life is very different from my meaning. So there's the subjective meaning and then there's the objective meaning. And I guess my first answer was the objective meaning, which was the terms of no matter what path we're on, we're not going to take anything with us. So now when we look subjectively, we look at our own meanings. It's what we make it, right? And just learn as much as you can, be positive as often as you can, surround yourself with people that make you smile, and just go for the ride, because I mean, listen, I agree with you. I just turned 40 as well, and there's a lot of things that I can see the age in me. I can see the age in my friends when I see them,
and it doesn't feel like we should be here yet, right?
No,
you know
it doesn't. I mean? And I never at any point has that. I do still feel like I'm in maybe my 20s, or something.
I mean,
it's very strange.
I mean, the crazy, think about this. We're in the next our next decade, we're going to have friends who are going to become grandparents.
Right.
Like, I don't think we should be saying that, but that's where we are.
That's right.
Friends of ours, because we're going to be heading towards our 50s.
Right.
They're going to become, like, we're going to know people who are went to school with that are grandparents. Like,
Listen,
what?
My best friend of 27 years, I mean, he's got 2 boys that are 18 and 16.
There you go. Right there. In the next 10 years, your best friend in the next 10 years is going to be a grandparent.
That's more than likely. Crazy stuff. Whoa, more super chats came in here at the very end. We'll get them. Anthony T says, now that Halloween is over, will you be watching Hallmark holiday movies? Yes, I'm going to watch the Hallmark holiday movies. Hey, if you're on the East Coast and if you're overseas still watching us this early in the morning, happy November 1st, everybody. If you're still on the West Coast, happy Halloween still. Joseph Formato, again, buddy, amazing. Before the night ends, Busta Rhymes voice, trick or treat, motherfucker. Happy Halloween, guys. Well, okay, there's mine, and then there's what he actually says. What he actually says in the movie is more like this. Trick or treat, motherfucker. Of course, I embellish it, and I'm like, trick or treat, motherfucker. I love it. What an awful, I think I spat on my microphone. What an awful fucking thing to say. Trick or treat, motherfucker. Yeah. Oh, my God. And then, of course, we also have Sweet Tea.
Before he answers this last super chat, we got an announcement for our next stream, which is going to be a big one. So hang tight.
Yes, there's still 316 people watching. Yeah. Amazing. Sweet Tea says, hi, guys. This was a great show. P.S. Tony, yes, Sweet Tea is short for Teresa. Woo!
That was my Professor. I went Professor X on you. I went Professor X on you.
You did. Tony knew. Tony knew. Thank you for supporting.
Lucky guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for the super chat, Sweet Tea. You are awesome. All right, that's gonna do it for episode 44 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, the Halloween special. But before we go, Tony and I want to announce that now this is subject to change because I need to lock it down. But as of right now, next Friday night, it's another special Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tony and I have to do it on the Friday. We'd love to be able to do it on the Saturday, which is actually the anniversary of this movie, but unfortunately we can't do that, so we're going to do it on the day before. It is the 35th anniversary of when A Nightmare on Elm Street was released.
That's right.
It was released 35 years.
Damn.
November the 9th, 1984. So Tony and I, next Friday, November the 8th, 2019, we are going to be doing another special Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, episode 45, where we do live commentary like we did tonight, watching the original Nightmare on Elm Street. It will be a similar show to this one, where we watch the movie, we give commentary, we answer as many questions as we can, and then we jump into the Q&A for some Q&A. And as usual, guys, if we don't get to your questions, remember, it's not personal. We have to answer the super chats, obviously, for obvious reasons, and we do our best to try and get to all the others as well, but there's a lot of people in there, and we like to take our time and be thorough, but we appreciate all the questions. We appreciate you watching. We think you guys are awesome. So, yeah, that's the big announcement for next week. Tony, any last things you want to add to that?
No, in fact, I think I'm good. I'm good.
Tony is good. Tony is good. All right. Well, in that case, all my links are in the description. You can check them out till your heart's content. Tony's link to his Instagram is down there as well. If you're not following him, what the hell are you doing? He posts awesome horror photos, including one just recently where the ghost Michael Myers, his own rendition of it, his link is in the description. So that's going to do it for us for this Halloween special. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it. In the meantime and in between time, we will talk to you guys soon. Cheers.
Later, guys.